Hi there, guys. Welcome back to the WSOP Circuit Events Tallinn 2024. This is Andreas Hogdon, joined by our main commentator, George Sanford. And we're back. We had a big final table yesterday, starting with that, the win for Philipp Gross, Germany.
Yeah, another dominating final table performance. We had Linda Nguyen from Norway the previous day in the ladies event, and another showcase of aggressive poker, getting the job done, which is good to see. Was actually going through that final table myself for some studying purposes because there were so many interesting dynamics with the short stacks. Should they be calling off? Should they be shoving these types of hands? So a great one to learn from. If you haven't seen that, that's going to be up on our YouTube channel. It's a fantastic watch. Getting things started today, though, the 1,100 PLO, we've got a mixture of pros, recreationals. It has been a fairly quick structure. We weren't expecting so many runners, almost 200 runners for a 1K PLO. Basically the biggest PLO I've heard of outside of Rostov and Vegas.
Yeah. So for those of you who've been waiting since 12:30 when we're supposed to start this stream, it's been slightly delayed due to the going so late last night to get the final 9. So they got a few hours extra sleep in, and now I think the guys are ready to battle for the coveted golden ring.
And in similar vein to the ladies event, we've got 3 short stacks coming in, sub 10 big blinds, so it could really be thick and fast. Anything can happen. Are they going to double? Is it going to get a spin up, or is the chip leader just going to walk away with it? Only time will tell.
Yeah, and we'll get to learn a few of the players. I think you met 1 or 2 of them for a little interview as well.
Jussi from Finland, Mattila is a very well-known player, plays a lot of live, has a really mean kind of dominant table presence. Looking forward to seeing him in action. In one of the interviews I did with him, he said that he doesn't give basically a hoot about the ICM. He's just going to go there and try and get the job done. I said, you know, you have the chip leader on your left, you know, as sort of, I like to play quite sort of snug in those spots, and he didn't really seem to care. So it should be an interesting showcase.
Yeah, and for those of you back home maybe not too familiar with the PLO, I know you're the expert of us. It's your bread and butter, the PLO.
Yeah,
and
I love Omaha.
It's 4 or 5 cards today. What do you think about the difference between those two?
Yeah, big difference between those two. 5 card, you tend to see more multi-way pots, so you have to defend the big blind a little bit tighter than you would in 4 card. Equities get quite shared, so on final table things can get really tricky in the 5 card format. It's definitely a format that suits the chip leader because once they're opening aggressively, potting into the short stacks are going to need to find a pretty strong hand because they know whatever happens, if they get the money in, then they're going to be up against some pretty significant equity. So I think that we're likely to see people gamble a little bit in the 5 card to try and maybe spin up a stack to have a bit more of a skill edge in the 4 card.
Yeah. All right. So with that, I think we're ready to head over to the introductions and meet some of the players, and then we'll be live with the action here from Hilton. So we'll leave it over to you, George, I think.
Thanks very much. Looking forward to it. Hello and welcome to day 7 here at WSOP Circuit Tallinn. I'm joined by Jussi Mattila coming into the final table, 3 out of 9. You've got the chip leader on your left. How's that going to factor in for things for you?
I play my game, it doesn't matter for me.
Yeah, so not ICM orientated, just going for the win?
Yes, for sure.
That's what we'd like to see. What's your biggest score in a PLO event?
I don't know, 40,000 I think. I was second in the Helsinki tournament.
So you might be able to eclipse that here with the win. So that's what we're going for, and it would be your first ring.
Yes, it would be.
So joining us is the chip leader coming into 1 of 9 in the 1K PLO. Got a mighty stack. How have you been doing in the day 1?
Pretty good, I guess. Yeah, it was a nice run in the end, so.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, no bad bits, so.
And some decent setups in your favor?
Yeah, pretty much.
How's your experience with PLO? Is it your preferred format, or do you like no limit hold'em?
I played lots of everything, so yeah, I love mixed games, and I have some hands in PLO as well. Yeah.
And with over 40,000 to first, would that eclipse your biggest win in poker?
Yes, it will be, yeah.
I'm joined by Stanislavas from Lithuania, coming in short with 6.5 big blinds. Need a spin, really. What's the game plan?
Pot.
Are you aware of the shorter stacks and trying to make the pay jumps, or are you just going to be going for it today?
We'll see how it goes, but yeah, I'm aware of the short stacks, but depends on the cards.
And what's your background in poker? Is Omaha your main game?
Yes.
Tournaments or cash games?
Cash games.
Yeah. Online or live?
Live.
Okay.
They mostly play slots and Russian poker.
Slots and Russian poker. Do you have an edge there?
A little bit.
Okay, keeping it a secret. Thanks very much for joining. Good luck.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, this is the final table of ring event number 7, 1,100 euro PLO 4 and 5. 198 entries total in this one, and we are down to our final 8 players. Let me introduce you to the final table. Taking seat number 1, he's from Latvia with 240,000 in chips. Let's welcome Renars Stepins. Taking seat number 2 from Finland with 695,000 in chips, welcome Jussi Mattila. Seat 3 with 255,000 in chips. He's from Lithuania. Welcome Stanislovas Vinichenka. Seat 4, also from Finland, 210,000 in chips. Welcome Sami Paananen. The chip leader coming in on seat 5. He's from Norway with 2,295,000 in chips. Jan Roger Holte. Seat 6, 505,000 in chips. From Finland, welcome Riku Koivurinne. From Denmark, walking in to seat number 7, 670,000 in chips, welcome Gisle Olsen. And seat number 8, 1,070,000 in chips from Norway, welcome Lars Romanstad. This is the 1,100 euro PLO 4 and 5 ring event number 7, World Series of Poker Circuit Tallinn 2024, final 8 players. We are gonna start, we can start the shuffle, please. Button is starting on seat 1. We got 28 minutes on level 24 with 20,000,
so thank you
40,000
to
blinds.
for once again welcoming in the
Jussi
players.
now on the small blind and Stanislovas on the big blind. 28 minutes to go on this level. 198 entries in the 1K PLO. We are down to our final 8. Let's go. Shuffle up and deal, please.
Great job once again from Teresa, and we are going to be getting the cards in the air for the final 8 here of the PLO 4 and 5 card, 1.1K buy-in. An insane field.
Yeah,
this is
record-breaking, right?
This is record-breaking and quite significant, absolutely. Something that I wasn't expecting. I think this event in the similar series here in Tallinn got about 110, if not just under that last time, so almost doubling the entry list. And it's quite nice as an Omaha player to see that Omaha boom in full force.
Yeah, absolutely. And we can see one of the biggest stacks, Jan Roger of Norway now with the kings. And
Yeah,
we're
this is
starting this off with the 4-card version then.
Yeah, absolutely. 4-card. Going to be a game where the chip leader has a decent advantage, is also going to have a huge advantage in the 5-card as well. It just gets to open so wide. The issue is in 5-card is that you're going to face a lot of resistance. There's going to be lots of hands that might want to VPip against him, and in 4-card he might just be able to really run through the blinds and the antes here.
You can also bring me a cognac.
And Stas here in the big blind with the 10-9-9-6 facing a pot size open. Just going to be getting out the way. Don't really want to be having a pair in your hand when you're facing this large opening sizing, because connected hands tend to flop a little bit better.
Yeah. So folding first hand and Stas, one of the shortest stacks. He came in a little bit over 200 and now has to give up 80 of those then to the big blind and the big blind ante.
I'm good, thanks.
And we are playing 40,000, 80,000 blinds at the moment.
Yeah, we certainly are. So I'm interested to see, obviously, King, King, Queen, 7, single suited, pretty strong holding. Is that going to be the theme from Jan? Is he going to be able to find a wider range to steal these blinds and to put pressure on the shorter stacks, or is he going to be quite snug? Always interesting to see that dynamic because he's got such a towering chip stack. I did an interview with him beforehand, and he was very humble and just didn't really give too much away. Said that he was, just ran good, and it seems like he's getting in the mix straight away.
Yeah. Letting this one go though, and Riku, one of the more familiar players perhaps on the table. I know you played a lot with him.
Yeah, many times. Lots of side events at the events here in Tallinn. He's always there or thereabouts. He plays a pretty solid game. So Renas here from Latvia has 240k at 40k big blind. I've had a little look at some of these short stack potting ranges, and these types of hands do very well. Having an ace, blocking hands like aces, ace, king, king, ace, queen, queen behind that are going to get it in with you. And even if they do get it in with a hand like kings, you're going to be flipping almost in the game of 4-card. Stas does have a single suited ace 10-4 deuce, but those low cards are really poor when you're on the short stack. You want to have as many high cards as possible to make top pairs, strong top 2 pairs, etc. Trying to dominate your opponent's range.
Yeah.
And it looks like this one should work, really.
Now then, Sami, as you can see, only 130 behind, already then putting 40 in the big blind and the ante, but he lets it go. So
this is the thing, like this hand is pretty weak, and he only needs to pay 20 now, so he's going to be down to 110, and he might be better off just waiting for the next orbit to try and get a better hand to spin it in with there. He knows that he's not going to get any fold equity. Just a question of waiting for good cards.
And here we have it. Current chip counts, as you can see, Stas and Sami on the shorter stacks. Only 3 big blinds to the names now. 130 and 155. And then we went a small jump onto Renners with 8 big blinds. And well up top, John Roger, as we did see with the Tower of Chips. 2.4 million. 59 big blinds at the moment. And we are playing 30-minute levels, right? So it's going to be pretty quick as well.
30-minute levels exactly, so there's really nowhere to hide for these short stacks. 3, 3, and 8 at the bottom of the pecking order at the moment. Riku's going to need a really strong hand here. He's in one of those awkward spots. There's a middling stack with lots of shorter guys that he's waiting for to bust out, so he really doesn't want to be playing too wide.
80.
Okay, so now Danish friend opening.
He opens to the min raise, and for me, when I see this min raise, I find it very difficult to believe that they're going to have the strongest hands in their range, like aces. On a final table, even in this format, you kind of want the fold equity, you kind of want the action, so this min raise sizing is often an indicator of the slightly weaker part of the opening range, and as we can see here, he's got the ace, king, jack, 4 that you could see he didn't really want to overcommit with. Bernard's picking up on that quite nicely. Kings can be a troublesome hand in PLO ICM, but if you believe that you have fold equity pre-flop and you believe that your opponent could be on the weaker end of things. And I think this defend here to the 3-bet would be quite ambitious. And the issue is, Renas here is probably at the bottom of his range. He'd be with the 2 other short stacks. He'd be taking hands like aces, ace, king, king, and king, king.
No. He has 40,000 still. He has 40,000.
Ace, king, jack, 4 is not doing very well against that range. You'd rather have a hand like 8, 7, 6, 5 double suited that has a little bit more of its kind of own equity. But you can see he's got 48%. It's kind of the best case scenario, I'd say. Let's come 10-10-3, and it's a real swing and a miss for Gisle there. He's got a backed off flush draw with an overcard, but the king's looking really strong here.
And then I need an ace.
So we have our first all-in then on the table, and it's Rennars. He's well ahead, but still risking his seat in the tournament. And There's only 40,000 more. Now their cards are on their backs, so Gisle can see that he needs some help.
And
The
it's game
10
over.
doesn't
Ace.
favor him at all, and of course the full house for the Renners. As in the check mark already on the turn.
Even with the fourth 10 on the river in the game of
Never
Omaha,
know.
you have to play 2 cards, of course. So
For helvete.
the full house locking it up. And nicely played from Renars there. It's 2 spots that some people might have shied away from. The ace 8-5-4 single with those short stacks there, looking to take it down. So good execution from him so far. Picked his spots well.
Yeah, and if you just joined us, this is the final table of the 1100 ring event number 7 here in the WSOP Circuit events in Tallinn. And we had to have a few streams already this week. We had the ladies event 2 days ago, and yesterday we had a 555 Texas No Limit Hold'em tournament being played with Phil Gross as our winner. And today we are doing the PLO. And as you said, George, we should probably remind those of you that are not too familiar with the PLO that you have to play, you have to use 2 cards in your hand
Every time, yeah.
every time.
Yeah, so that gets quite tricky on
Kings
things
again
like
now.
trips boards and 4 flush boards. Lars with this 27 or so big blind stack. It's by no means an easy spot. He could definitely consider actions like limping here, or even just open folding because of all of the short stacks behind that are likely to collide with the chip leader. I really like this fold. I think that shows a lot of good awareness. It's not making an awful lot to open kings there. You know, if you run into aces, you're going to be in a really tough spot. And by folding, he allows this late position action between Stas and now this short stack as well, Sammy on the button, to potentially collide with the chip leader in the small blind, and that's going to make him more money by just kind of sitting it out and waiting. Wow, Riku is really weak here. Queen 8, 3 deuce. That's about as bad as it gets.
It's only 70 more, so
He may even fold here.
110.
70 into 280, so yeah, he only needs 25% equity. I think kind of close your eyes and put it in, but it's not by no means a great spot.
as you can see, he would have a 41% equity, so he has the odds, but of course, as you say, not the best of hands to
No, it's
be putting out there, but it's an all-in and a call, so we have another showdown between 2 Finns, Riku and Sami on the shorter stack. Ace King 9-9.
I think it's just a spot where you fold hands like trips and quads in the hand. Wow,
Queen now
flopping
for
pretty
Riku.
big.
And
That was his only overcard to the 9s, and now a gut shot for Sami, so he needs an ace, a 10, 9, or a king.
Or a
There
king.
we go. Didn't see that one. Very
Yep.
nicely done.
so double up then for Sami of Finland. Against his countryman Riku. Has to give up some more chips. And well, up to 280 now then.
Yeah, had to do it the hard way as well. Was outflopped. Just really the queen that he was hoping to fade, and it comes queen 6-5, and also his compatriot flopping the gut shot, so he could have even been dead on the turn, which would have been a real disaster. But does drill the king on the river and gets there the hard way. Nice little double up back in the game.
Sulla aina se 100 000 ja sit sä aina tuplaat siitä. Loppuun asti, toivottavasti.
And the short stack's continuing to double. That's 2 out of 2 so far, so it's not
Yeah.
going to be ideal for players like Jussi, Renars, and Lars in the middle of the pack. They're going to have to contend with lots of awkward situations. You just saw Lars there open fold to King 6-4, one of the weaker king combos under the gun, to try and allow some kind of collisions behind and get that pair jump. But it just goes to show how awkward it can be for him to get involved.
Yeah, so 2 Norwegians up top. Normally the PLO tournaments are almost a Finnish affair. Like I think
Yeah.
we had last year, we had 5 Finns in the final table.
We did, I think, maybe 6 actually.
might be, yeah.
It was a Finnish invasion.
Still there are 3 on this one, but the Norwegians are holding the chip 1 and 2 right now.
Stas is getting his value. He's having a little energy drink or something before piling those chips in. And it's a beautiful sight here with the ace-queen jack-5 double. Really what he was hoping to see.
Rico, small blind.
Kind of awkward. He's doing okay against the shoving range, but he's just going to allow Gisele to do the job himself. And there is 15k behind, so it's pretty much a formality that that's going to be going in less than a small blind. And it's a fair fight. Sixes versus double suited with 3 overcards. And that's a pretty good flop for Gisele there. And also Stas. He flops trip 5s. Gisele's got the overpair with a backdoor flush draw.
Well, then I'm dead.
Well, you're not dead.
Not,
A 6.
not quite, but yeah.
I have that.
But it looks like
need
a
a 6
formality. He's going to
Yeah.
need a backdoor straight flush or a 6.
I need a 6 or a diamond. No, that helps me not.
Exactly. Diamonds wouldn't help, but a 6 would.
I see you are have
The
dominated.
3 of diamonds could be a spicy
Yeah.
turn card.
I
Yeah,
need a 6.
that would give him a straight draw.
Yes, I do.
The 9 doesn't look too good, and it looks like the 6s have been folded already from the graphics. So not even a sweat from our side of the spectrum. And that's going to be it.
Yep.
Locked up, and
Another
Gisele.
double up for the shortest stack.
It's a disaster start for Gisele
Yeah,
there. He
unfortunate, down to 135 now.
couldn't find the fold with his rather speculative ace-king-jack-4 single facing the 3-bet from the short stack. This time now doubling up Stas with much more standard kind of hand. There's nothing to be done there with the ace-6-6-4 double. You just got to close your eyes and get it in and hope for the best. This time didn't work out for him. And all of a sudden, coming in as a medium stack, Gisele now is looking like he's the favorite to be the first bust out. That's 3 out of 3 times the short stack has now doubled.
Yeah, and twice through Gisele, so yeah, on the shorter stack now, and looking to get some momentum going. It's in the small blind now as well, so has to give up another 40k of his chips. We have a card flip. Still be playing the 4 card PLO, so this is both the 4 and 5 card version.
Yeah, so we do an orbit of each to make it fair so that people aren't stalling and then you get less of one format and more of the other. Just doing it by a set amount of hands, which is going to be 8, or as we go to 7, 6 and 5-handed and so on. Stas here with the ace, king, queen, 6. I think I'd be taking this one. 3 really strong high cards. You dominate. You do pretty well. He's just trying to figure it out. There are a couple of shorter stacks, and it's not ideal to bust. But again, tournaments, top-heavy payout structure. I think we need to be taking these spots, and he seems to agree.
He does. Comes with the raise.
You'll be happy to see that the Tripoli didn't pick up much there, just the 10-6-6-5 double, I believe. Gisele out the way, he's getting really short, and Lars in the big blind. The sort of hand that you might defend for chips, queen 9-8-5, but with this kind of awkward ICM situation, if he were to call and then double his opponent up, then Lars would be one of those super awkward sort of medium/short stacks. So it's very much a bit of a sort of chess match right now. Everyone's kind of trying to size up their opponents, tiptoe around a little bit and figure out what's yet to come. We still have, of course, 8 remaining here. And the pay jumps at the moment are relatively modest, but they do increase later on. So you've got to think, how am I going to put myself in the best spot to contend for the real money here at the final table?
Jussi now then will be first to act, down at the mystery hand for us right now.
Yeah, we've not seen anything from Jussi so far.
No? Maybe not the under the gun hand.
I
they
don't
wanna
think
be
so
opening
with the tri-suit there. I think if he was double suited, he would have played it.
then, our chip leader.
Yeah, that's a beautiful hand. Ace, king, queen, jack, single. Really strong. Riku here with an awkward spot. Double suited queens facing the chip leader open. No fold equity pre-flop, as he's only got 335 and he's got a couple of shorter stacks on his left. I think we just have to fold this one. And to you cash game players at home, I know that that looks like a criminal fold, but think of the ICM considerations, the fact that he needs to potentially make a couple of pay jumps here. He knows that he doesn't have any fold equity, which means that he's going to get called. And queens double suited, whilst it is a strong hand, it never really has more than 55-60% versus this kind of hijack opening range.
Tough one to fold, though, right?
It is, yeah, especially if you play cash games, 100 big blinds, you just never fold here. He is going to shove. It's a brave move. You've got to give him credit for that. I think by the numbers, potentially somewhat of a misstep. Usually there on 135k. Also, seat 4 sat with much shorter of a stack.
Of course, John Roger calls the last part he has
beats
to.
him in the pot there with the ace, queen, king, queen, jack for under 10 big blinds. That's a beautiful spot.
Oh, 770,000 in the middle that Riku would happily have back to stack in his own stack. And let's see.
See if he can do it. It's a clean one so far. 2 backdoor flush draws as well. So even if the ace or the king of diamonds comes on the turn, he's got that covered.
Yeah, now blocking hearts as well. And
that's as clean as it gets with the queens. Nice double up there. Wasn't scared to take the spot.
yeah,
Were a couple of short stacks around. He didn't have any fold equity, but did indeed put the chips in, and that's going to be a nice double up for him. 770k, so 20 big blinds now. The only thing is, when you take those spots, you've got to think, okay, if I double, what happens now? And you're more incentivized to double when doubling means that you would like take the chip lead or you'd be a contender. Still, we're going to see the Norwegian just remain as the clear chip leader, so it doesn't really affect his situation that much, which is possibly why I might have folded that hand. But you also have to commend people for taking brave spots that are playing to win the tournament.
yeah.
So many things to consider.
Yeah, and as you can see in the background, we have 8 more minutes of this level before the blinds will be going up. And also the price structure in the background, 44,000 euros up top. So
Yeah,
that's
absolutely.
what they are fighting for, except of course, the ring.
It's an insane top prize for a PLO tournament. It really makes me quite happy to see. Just shows that the game is still growing, and I think in the tournament format it's becoming more and more popular.
Definitely, yeah.
And not really in the online fields, but live. It just everywhere you go, it seems to be more and more PLO turning up on the schedules, which is what everyone wants to see. In Northern Europe, if you are thinking of wanting to play some live PLO tournaments, Tallinn is by far one of the better stops on the roster available in Europe.
Riku, oh, look at this one. First aces of the day, and it's in Riku's hand. He just doubled up through John Roger, and now John Roger has erased it. Did not go for the full pot, made it 115.
So something to consider here, Andreas, sorry to cut you off there, is that Jan now has opened full pot with kings, just over 3x with ace, king, queen, jack, and now just under 3x with 7, 7, 4, 4. So I'm seeing a bit of a pattern there.
Yeah.
His bigger sizing is the strength, his smaller sizing is the weakness. And Riku doesn't need aces to maybe make a move on this, because this is the spot that he's going to have potentially fold equity. And I don't think we're going to see Jan Roger continue with his rainbow, semi-disconnected double pair here. Just think it's a little too weak. Set mining, it would be going to a stack to pot ratio of like 0.3, so there's going to be basically no chips behind. Regardless, let's see what happens here. What's he thinking about here?
I'm not sure. There's some confusion on the table, I think. Or is he still thinking about...
I don't know, maybe he's thinking the fact that it's a raise and a 3-bet, he just wants to gamble or something. But this is, I mean, he's going to have this situation come up. He has 3 or 4 hands before he has to go through the blinds. maybe just taking a bit of TV time. Doesn't feel like he's going to be getting much more with that short stack.
Lars letting the kings go, of course, with a raise and a 3-bet, and jacks will also go in the muck for Renars. Lucy also folding.
Yeah,
Big blind.
it would be suicide for any of those hands to come in. Even the single-suited kings there, you knew Rico is not going to take this spot that light. And kings as a hand in PLO4 is just never really miles ahead. So it's a problematic hand on FTs, one that's easy to be overplayed.
John Roger giving it some time. About the decision, as you said, the two small pairs.
Yeah, this is, you just don't really want pairs when you're defending 3-bets out of position, going with the short amount of chips behind. It kind of kills your equity somewhat. In a cash game, you'd never fold, because if you flopped a set, you might be able to win a big pot versus hands like aces and ace-king-king, ace-queen-queen there. But in this situation, really no implied odds whatsoever. And he's already taken a bit of a hit, and the momentum is starting to kind of slip away from him. You can see he had the overwhelming chip lead with 2.3 million. Now all of a sudden, if Riku, who's made a little bit of a stand in the last couple of hands, doubles through him, it's going to be roles reversed. So that's something to consider. Let's see if Riku or Lars can mount a challenge. We've seen a couple of the short stacks rise from the ashes and mount a bit of a challenge here.
Yeah,
Is it going to be Gisle that can come back?
it's a few hands.
Yeah, exactly, before he's going to quite literally be forced all in.
Yeah, maybe waiting for the 5 card that we are now on.
Yeah, potentially.
So our first hand of 5 card Omaha for this final table now then, as we can see Sami putting those 5 in the muck.
Yeah, those were real napkins.
Yeah,
Good fold there from the chip leader.
yeah.
One of those hands that's easily overrated in 5 cards. The pocket jacks double tri-suit. It's a much weaker hand than it looks like. You really want to be ace-x centric on a final table. You need to block the strong hands behind. And this is what Lars is doing here. He's got an okay hand, ace 8, 7, 7, 4. But the most important facet of the hand is the ace.
Renars now then. Tricky hand as well, right?
Yeah,
Double
very-
pair.
Yeah, tri-suit as well. King, king, 7, 7. You may see him flat here. I wouldn't want to be in this situation personally. It's very awkward. Just looking at the computer there, looking to see what the payouts are. I have no clue what you need to do in this spot. I think intuitively it feels like you might just want to fold. But he is on the button. He will have position during the hand. How aggressive are the 2 players behind him is a very important consideration. Is he going to get squeezed out of that equity? I think that's a really solid laydown there.
Quick fold from Jussi, and now then Stas in the big blind. Like the first 2 cards, you will look at in that order, but not the rest, right?
Yeah, the problem I have with 5 card as a game in tournament poker is what we just saw there. And in the previous hand in PLO4, it was exemplified as well. Sometimes someone opens and you just can't really do anything, you know, because you don't really want to tangle, you don't want to battle. It's the first person in the pot that just has such a massive advantage.
Yeah.
Because everyone knows all of the potential players behind the opener are just going to be fearful to run their equity because they know that they're going to bust such a lot. So it's really a game of being aggressive with your opens, getting in there when you've got any kind of decent holding with an ace-x, and driving the action yourself, because there's not really much that these middling stacks can do facing that. So Stas has an awkward spot. He's got a nut suit. He's pretty disconnected, but he is defending and getting a reasonable price here. And the benefit of defending semi-wide in this spot is that you're going to be first in the pot. So kind of concept that I was just talking about applies here, where you're going to be able to donk lead lots of boards and try to deny the equity or gain some fold equity against the opener. Lots of low, middling, connected boards are going to be pretty favoursome for you and will put the overpair heavy range in a tough spot. However, both players flop huge here, trips for both players, but Lars has...
You got like 275?
Lars has a flush draw. What's going on with our graphics here? I'm seeing ace-8 versus ace-8, but the flush
Yeah, I think
draw...
we're off on the percentage, right?
Yeah, that can't be right.
As you say, Lars with the added flush draw to the ace-8 trips.
Exactly.
So surely the chips will be going in on this one, and we'll see whether it will be a elimination for Stas or if they can maybe split the pot. Of course, there are outs for Stas winning as well.
Stas going for the trappy check. He would have some draws in the form of straight draws, flush draws that might feel compelled to donk jam just to try and get hands like random ace highs to fold. There is the
now.
queen on the turn.
Wow,
How
Stas
did
likes that one.
how did the graphics know? The graphics are a level ahead.
Yeah, so the flush doesn't help Lars. It's a double up for Stas.
I guess it's because we're playing 8-handed 5-card, and there's just not many cards left, right? So the graphics knows what's to come.
Yeah,
Yeah,
might
so
be,
it's
right?
like, even though we're seeing a flush draw and maybe there were just all the queens alive or something like that. Yeah, that's
might be
interesting.
right.
I didn't think of it like that.
Yeah, true. We do have seen a lot of cards, of course, in the deck, so folded already. So yeah.
So they
Right.
both, you both, they both.
So
have
double up
a-
for Stas. I had a chat with him previous before the final table started, and he, asked all of the players if they had any hobbies. Can you take a guess of Stas what his hobby is?
I think I've cheated because I think I asked him the same question.
Oh, you did?
He said Russian poker and slots.
Yes, slots was my okay, and he added one more than to
Yeah,
you.
yeah.
Okay.
I think he was being almost modest to you. He's a full-blown degen.
Yep, likes to take a gamble.
So we'll be seeing him downstairs on the pokies later,
Yeah,
potentially multi-tabling those after a big win here.
exactly. Yeah, I didn't ask the players, but yesterday I did with the 5-5-5 final table what their plans were if they were winning. If they had any special, things they wanted to buy or do. I did not ask them these guys, but maybe Stas then would have.
Well, this is the
Can I
difference
get the,
between No Limit Hold'em players and Omaha players. You usually get a bit of a different rabble, you know. The personalities are much more severe, I think, in Omaha. It just, with more cards, more action, it does tend to create a sort of a desire for thrill seekers to play this format of the game, I would say.
So maybe if Stas is the winner, we're gonna hand over instead of the big check. We can just give him a slots ticket.
Exactly.
In big format.
Yeah, just put it straight on number 17 downstairs. Park up for the rest of the night and double your money.
Short stack. Gisle gets out of the way, has to wait a hand or two before he's almost forced all in. And Renars with the ace-king blocker. Threes to go with.
Yeah, it would have been a candidate, but that 3-3 deuce and the tri-suit is just so weak. I think we don't mind getting out the way with that one.
Yeah, and of course also now the guys with the fairly shorter stack, they know that Gisle has just a hand or two before he's gonna be all in. So yeah, it's a little bit of a waiting game, but of course Jussi wants to put some pressure on the guys as well in the blinds.
Yeah, I think he should be potting here with this suit today, just because it's so difficult for anyone to play any hands behind. He's got two guys on similar-ish stacks to him. He's got some fold equity against the big blind even.
Definitely, you can show it.
So Stas is going to take the initiative here with the King 10-9-9-5.
Yeah, and of course Sam is also on the short stack in the big blind.
Yeah, and I don't think he's going to be able to wait around here. I think he just wants to call, see a flop. If it's like super disastrous, like ace deuce deuce, he could potentially get out the way. But this price is 100k into 350. So getting good odds.
I'm not so good at the...
Doesn't need to realize much equity at all to justify the call here.
Yeah, and we just have our new blinds in place as well, so we're playing 25-50K now, and you see it's already put 100 in the middle with the big blind ante included as well, so...
Yeah, unfortunate timing for him there as he has to put in 125K instead of 100K, so if it's something to consider when you're playing tournaments. Sometimes you want to play quick, or sometimes you want to play slow when a short stack is about to go through the big blind.
Yeah.
So it's always annoying when it comes around to you in the big blind and it's just moved up. There sometimes is something that you could have done to foresee that. Queen Jack 886, I'm not sure what all the tanking is for here. I guess he's deciding, do I go all in or do I just call? And he's going to go all in. Seems reasonable. He does get to realize all of his equity that way. That way he doesn't get bluffed off of some random board that he completely misses. And we can see on the graphics that he's got 62% despite having the worst pair. So remember, with some of these equities, they're going to be a little bit skewed because we've seen so many of the folded cards.
3, 4, 5.
Yeah, what's going on there? So still 9s versus 8s, but 8s turns a nut gut shot. And there's an 8. There it is. Locked up on the turn. Looks like there's no 9s left in the deck from what we've seen. And a deuce on the river. Meaningless. No one with a straight. And the 8s for Sammy secure the double up.
Yes, so another short stack. Doubling up now then.
I feel like Jussi would have had that one. He had some kind of ace 10, 7, 5 deuce, right?
He did,
So
right,
that would have been a straight on the flop.
5, 7,
Yes.
10.
Yep, confirms it as well, I think. And you'll see, we recognize him from a lot of tournaments here in Tallinn as well. Played for many years, and although he's not, I think there was 3 or 4 of these guys considered themselves to be professional players, and this is not one of them. But of course, in this type of field, you will find a lot of mixed games specialists.
I think he does very well in these fields. He clearly understands a lot of pretty high-level concepts and plays aggressively enough. He plays in cash games as well. He's got a good background and seems to do well across all formats of the game. I believe he plays a lot of golf. I sort of stumbled upon his Instagram based on some of the stuff going out from you and the team with the OlyBet stories. And it looks like he goes to Vegas and plays at the Wind Country Club, which is a lovely venue.
Really nice.
So must be a strong player there as well, you feel.
And here you have all the payouts for the final table. You can see the next player out will receive 6,000. The first pay jump will be up to 7,350 for 7th place, and 44K up top. Big score for a PLO tournament.
Absolutely.
And as we said earlier, it's a record-breaking field of 198 players total.
Fold.
Folding again for the short stack. Now only 2 blinds for Gisle. He has 2 more hands then before he has to put almost everything in the big blind. So if you can find the double up before that happens, or if you just wait around for the blinds to eat him.
Wow, Lars folds ace queen 10 8 5.
Yeah,
Yes,
just
just because
opening
of
a
the
few
short
hands
stack.
and-
Yeah,
yeah.
definitely. He's been quite committed to those folds. I would have definitely folded the kings. I wouldn't have been able to help myself with that open there. I know we do have the short stack, but again, it is important to continue to accrue chips in unopened situations. It's just so strong coming in as the first opener in these situations.
Yep.
Lars Stas goes for the limp here. Quite interesting. Looks like he doesn't want to pot call it off versus the chip leader. Knows that he wants to V-pip the hand. Doesn't want to overcommit. Sammy gets out the way there. And wow, Jan has real...
They're both playing a 5-card draw right now, right?
Really?
Sweden.
Yeah, straight versus trips. Really dusty hand for Jan there with these 3 deuces. He does flop bottom 2 here on ace 9-3. Shouldn't be too worried about aces. I think in 5-card where the equities are quite close, you're just going to see aces pop for the most part on the button.
Yeah, and goes for the open.
Yeah.
5K.
Stas has got a lot of outs. He's got 4 overcards to the 9 and all of the backdoor straight draws. And there's the beginning of his wrap now. Queen Jack 10-8. All straights for him. But Jan turns a flush draw as well with his bottom 2, so let's see what the river is. It is the 5, so can't be too worried about deuce 4 when we've got 3 deuces in our hand.
No, a lot of good blockers for the straight.
And Stas is just going to let that one go there. I'm surprised that he played the limp off of the short stack there. I would have potted that one myself. But he does allow his opponent to realize equity with a very weak hand. And look at Jan in the big blind. He's almost embarrassed with such a weak hand. But he got to see the flop for free. It's not like he called the pot size open.
Yeah, so
a nice answer.
Stas will regret that he didn't open or did raise pre-flop there, because he got him Jan Roger off the trip deuce.
Exactly, yeah. Just late
for free.
position, strong hand. Even if someone goes with it, you're never going to have worse than 40-45%. But you've got so much fold equity pre-flop. There's 2.5 big blinds out there. Yeah, I'm interested to see that emergence of a limping range.
Så vi bruker nesten en halvtime hver orbit. Det ganske drøyt.
So, new hand on the table. Stas building some kind of chips.
Yeah, like a triangular Bermuda Triangle type thing
that.
going
He wants
on
everyone to disappear down into that black hole of his. Gisle now.
Scary.
We're getting under the gun with just 2 blinds.
Yep, in we go now.
Time to go.
Double suited. Semi-decent.
Yep, he's all in for 115. Who's gonna call him? He's the big blind ace, of course, but is anyone else finding something to maybe isolate it with? You'll see. Not interested by the looks of it. Or, no, just gonna spread them for us, I think.
Yeah, there you go. Ace, 8, 4, 4, 3.
Behaving well.
Yeah, behaving
the
well.
cards as you should in the box.
Doing the job, making sure we could see what he's folding, and certainly was, I think, the correct decision to get out the way there. Stas looks interested, not sure why. Probably be better off just letting someone else do the job for him. He knows that this under the gun shove for less than 2.5 bigs is not going to get through, so why be the one to risk it when there's 2 or 3 players behind that could really hurt your stack? Jan is going to come along for the ride, doing the job as he should as the chip leader. Doesn't have the best of hands, but is double suited, and he's just not really going to get squeezed much behind by Riku. It's going to be a very honest response.
So, Gisle now then, the one hoping to quadruple up almost the 115 he put in, and it's almost 400 in the middle to go for, and the flop.
A huge flop for Jan. Yeah, Jan flops a straight with 10 high diamonds. Riku has a jack high flush draw with the bottom end of the gut shot that we know to be redundant, and Gisle has bottom 2 with the gut shot to chop now.
I could have something.
Jan sticks it in for pot, doesn't really want to hang around here, and did get the better diamonds to fold, so
I have 2
certainly
pairs
had
so far, so not too many
some merit.
diamonds. Not too many 10s.
Gisle standing up now. See what he can.
He's going to need a queen or a jack.
Yeah.
They killed
The
my
5
mood
of diamonds
first.
is unfortunate, but still the same story. Queen or a jack needed.
Yes.
Oh, the jack of clubs.
Why? I should
One
try that
remaining
also.
out in the deck, and he finds it. Wow.
Wow. This is going to be
I
a
should
long
try that
final
also.
table.
It could
This
be.
goes on, right?
This is 5 out of 5 times we've seen the short stack double now, I believe.
No one wants to leave this happy crowd.
You had jack, I had
So
queen.
the Gisle
I had
double
queen.
up. I'm going to head out of the booth
385
for a little
this is.
while, and I'm going to have a guest
I think
coming
I had
in.
queen.
No, I have to pay 125.
Yeah, absolutely. Georgie
I'm gonna
Rubitz
have my money
is going to
after
come
that.
in,
Yeah,
someone I know from
200.
online, and yeah, let's see what he's going to bring to the table. He's a pretty strong player. Yeah.
Yep. Perfect. So,
Thank you, Mr. Wise Guy.
All you can do is
50, 275.
So still 8 left.
295,
Funnily enough, we are a level and a half in here. No one
270
budging
will
as
be
of
when I
yet,
pay
and
the
this is just what you don't want to see. And it feels sometimes when you are the medium
If everybody
stack,
folds, I win.
that
That's
this
for
is what
information.
seems to happen quite often on final tables. Short stacks doubling, and That's for a reason, really. Short stacks are going to be the ones likely to have the slightly better holding. So living in Trondheim, here we go. Getting some info on Lars from Denmark, I believe. Likes to play chess and work out.
I have 4 out, so I
Seems
can
like
count
a
to 8.
strong duo.
Like that.
Ace, king, queen,
Wait,
8,
but then
7
they're not- A lot
single.
of other cards not in the deck. So.
Let's let it go. So not. It's seen a very conservative style from him, I think, so far. Going to
160.
go through the big blind and big blind ante next hand. But he would have run into a strong hand here from Jussi. I don't think he would have been going anywhere regardless of Lars's action. Ace, king, king,
Yes.
queen, 8 double. Exactly what you're looking for in this spot. He makes it 160. Stas here. Tri-suit. Likely to just get out the way. Again, power of the raise first in is just massive on PLO final tables, and especially PLO5, because, you know, what can you really defend with? It's a little bit flawed in my opinion, but hey, that's the format we're playing, and that's what the players have to adjust to, right? So Gisle, we've seen him not be particularly scared of getting it in light, and I think he's got a pretty natural defend here as the short stack. Ace 10, 9, 7, 7 with a nut suit. Going to be able to stop and go on lots of boards, potentially carve out a little bit of fold equity. But he makes a tight fold there, and I'm not sure you're able to really make folds like that as the short stack. Beggars can't be choosers, right? So he's going to have to make some kind of move, and holding that kind of hand, potentially signaling that he's changed his mind and is going to be a little bit less active in the upcoming orbits, just waiting for the nuts, basically. Renars with the Jack 8, 5, 5 double pair. Looks better than it is. Disconnected tri-suit. Going to be at the bottom of the pecking order in terms of the the double paired Jacks hands. And yeah, nowhere near an open from early position here. Stas has also got some napkins there. He gets out the way. Sammy likewise. Chip leaders taking a break for some reason, missing out on a little bit of EV there. He's going to be able to open very wide and put pressure on all of these middling stacks. It's a bit of a disaster to be missing hands at this stage of the tournament, but hey ho. Ace King 7 3 deuce doubled for Riku here. He's looking over at Lars's stack, who I do believe covers him.
No, I'm so heavy that it's gonna fall
I
down.
think with the Ace King, it's double tri-suit, but I think this is just a little too strong to fold on the button, and he does go for the pot. That's nice execution there. Looked like he was going to bottle it for a second, but does find the courage. Trip nines in Gisle's hand, just kind of running down the clock a little bit. Maybe waiting for his Danish friend to rejoin the table. I'm not really sure what we're waiting for here. Is Riku going to call time here? It's clear that Gisle isn't thinking about anything. Riku eyeballing him down in the background. It's
Oh, you can wake me up when I'm sleeping. I was waiting for somebody else.
Okay.
yeah, I guess you're quite right. It's just
No, I
TV
don't
time.
have, I
running
don't,
down
I
the
don't
clock.
have those.
absolutely unaware as to
tough
what's going on.
decisions.
Maybe
I
a
have
late night on the
push
cash
outs
game
and fold.
tables. Who knows? But
Sorry for the delay.
wow, okay, that was quite something. And Lars just folding with ace queen jack 7-4, continuing his really solid conservative style. And a nice pickup there. Wasn't really hoping for any kind of action, but ace king 7-3 deuce on the button. And the benefit there is that once the short stack and the small blind folds, the big blind is just under so much more pressure just from the open. And it's certainly a player that if you could see some of the hands that Lars has been folding so far, would understand that it's going to be a really profitable open there. So things still neck and neck here on the 4-card, 5-card, 1.1k ring event final table. No eliminations. So it's been a stubborn first hour or so of action. And we've got, I believe, 1 or 2 more hands of 5-card, and then we're going to get back to the purer former of Omaha, the 4-card game. Stas, as I don't think he's going to be in there. Sammy also tri-suit jacks. Not going to be enough with the chip leader on the left. Let's see what the chip leader snap folded there. No, we're not going to get to see it, unfortunately. It's interesting to zone in on those kind of combos just to get a bit of a flavor as to what his game plan is. Hasn't been the most aggressive so far. Did open a 7-7-4-4 rainbow from early position, which showed a bit of heart, but some slight indications of a pre-flop sizing tell were emerging as well. Bigger equals stronger, smaller equals weaker, something to watch out for. It seems to be commonplace in live PLO tournaments, that's for sure. So Riku is going to take the initiative once again, opening it up to 120. Ace, King, Jack, 8, deuce. Renar's getting a relatively decent price here in the big blind. 70 into 315. And I'm joined by Georgi Vumets, fellow Omaha player. How are we, sir?
Hello. Thanks for having me. Good
Yeah,
to
no
be here.
problem.
I have about 30 minutes before I jump into the high-low event.
You're going to be starting from level 1 in that one.
Yeah.
Nice one.
But as long as I have time, it's my pleasure to be here.
Absolutely.
Thanks for inviting.
No problem. Have you done any media work commentating also before?
Not really. Like, I guess streaming doesn't count, right?
I think it counts, yeah, for sure. So how much streaming have you done?
I'm a recreational streamer.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Was it something that you enjoyed doing, or did you find that you were maybe giving away too much of your strategy, or is there a reason why you don't stream regularly?
Good question.
Yeah.
In some areas of my life, I struggle with discipline.
Okay.
that's one of the areas that I struggle with.
What, the sort of turning up every day and putting all of the hours in, basically?
It's just, when you have like a tougher run and
Yeah.
then you start doubting yourself, like,
100%.
damn it, do I still got it? Like,
Yeah.
is my knowledge is good enough to push through? Like, is it like, is my knowledge is good enough to forward it to my viewers? Like,
Yeah.
like I'm a perfectionist by nature, and so like when I do something, I tryna.
You
do
feel
it to
almost
the
this
top of it.
imposter syndrome where you feel like you're kind of doubting yourself, and you're starting to have this kind of identity crisis with, like, am I as qualified as I think I am, or this kind of thing. Yeah, I understand that very well, and sometimes I would watch the streams back and be like, who is this person? Like, that could be quite unnerving to deal with. But obviously, like me, your main game is PLO. Do you prefer 4-card or 5-card?
By far I prefer four-card.
Yeah, me too. I think
by
that there's,
far.
I think that so far from what I've seen, final table ICM 5-card just doesn't seem to be like a very fun game to play. You know, someone opens, everyone folds. You can't really. There's no collisions. You know, because everyone just has to fold like range almost, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it doesn't seem to be a fun format. You played in this event, right?
Yeah, I played in this event. Unfortunately, did not cash, but yeah, it was still good experience.
Yeah. And a good reg. How was the tables that you played? Lots of pros or lots of recreational players as well?
No, trust me, this field is like you want to be in this field playing this type of tournaments.
Yeah.
It's just the variance takes its part, and you can't really do anything about it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we've definitely seen some optimistic plays so far, and players that just do not like to fold and kind of get in the mix, and that can be quite valuable with the ICM considerations as well. Riku's done quite well so far. He's been one of those people that realizes how tight everyone else is playing, and he's kind of taken initiative. And I wouldn't be surprised to see him not open the King 8, 7, 5, 6 here. He's got the chip leader on his direct right, who has essentially sat out so far this final table.
Interesting.
Yeah, he's not using his 2 million chips to much effort. Do you have any experience with any of these players? Getting a look around the table now?
I played with Rico a bit. Like he's a solid player.
Yeah.
I can say that for sure. Like the rest faces are somewhat unfamiliar, at least for now.
Okay. Yeah, I played with Rico as well. He's got quite a good table presence. He's very present in the hands. You can tell that he's watching everything and doesn't really make many mistakes, from what I understand. Would you have opened it with his spot there, the King 8 to 5 double suited pure? He's got pretty much everyone behind him on sort of 10 to 15 big blinds. Maybe he wants an ace blocker, do you think, or?
That is true for sure. Like when you apply pressure, like on these final tables with ICM especially, you want to be blocking 3-betting ranges. Ace, king is like ace and king are the crucial cards to be opening with.
Yeah.
But if the table allows him to open, then why not? Like I mean,
what I think as well.
If he reads the situation correctly and like he's right, I mean, go for it. The chip leader is like essentially idle. Why not? You have to like punish and take control.
And almost it's his opportunity to pick up all of the blinds that the chip leader should be hoovering up, right? And if he's on his direct left, then it's just a perfect opportunity for him to take the final table by the scruff of the neck and say, well, if you're not going to do it, pal, someone needs to.
Exactly.
And that's a beautiful spot to be in. He got a great table draw, the chip leader on his right, which actually can't be good if the chip leader is opening a lot, but in this case it works out perfectly for him. So Jussi does back into a boat here. Small pot, blind versus blind. Renars with an overpair. It does block the nut straight as well. He's not going to like the sound of this pot-sized bet from Jussi though. I believe it's a limp pot, check, flop, bet and a call on the turn. Renars using those queen blockers to some effect on the turn, getting resistance from middle set, and the board pairs on the river. And is he thinking that Jussi would ever bluff with the hand like 10-8 here with not much perceived showdown? Blind versus blind though, I just don't see many bluffs here.
Yeah, true.
I don't think it's a very natural spot for Jussi to...
He's somewhat short too, right?
Yeah.
So that would be like essentially committing too much percentage of his stack with a bluff. That's just not something that is...
common, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, this is almost for Renar's entire stack here. He'd have 1.5 big blinds remaining if he were to be wrong. And in many ways, having the queens here, whilst it was useful on the turn to block the nut straight, now you're kind of problematic because you want your opponent to have missed straight draws that might be compelled to bluff. So it's hard to say whether that's a good component to have in a check call here on the river.
I mean, I respect his attempt to go for the bluff on the turn, and he potentially, I assume, would have even barreled it on the river as well.
Yeah, on a non-pair or non-heart, I guess.
Yeah, and that
Yeah,
could even work out.
I think it would have worked with the tens. With yeah,
Slightly depends on what big blind thinks about, like what reads he has and what history, dynamic, etc.
you'll see from Finland is a very live-orientated player. He's got a strong table presence. He kind of goes with his gut and his intuition. It's a tough man to bluff because he will be eyeballing you down and making you feel uncomfortable. So those types of players are always quite tricky to maneuver with in live poker. How about yourself? So you're playing predominantly online or live?
I play 95% online.
Yeah.
Just
Are
that
you in oil business or in salmon business? That's what Norwegian do.
somewhat hard to find too many good PLO tourneys here in Tallinn. Like
Like decent
occasionally, like
buy-ins or structures.
five to 10 tournaments per year, I guess. I would say that's it. That's about it.
Selma.
And basically for that
Norway.
reason, I don't play Hold'em
I'm
at
buying
all.
shitload of salmon
I'm
in
just
Norway.
so much in love with the great game that
25,000 something.
I can't. Like, I mean, 2 cards is not enough anymore.
Yeah, I totally feel you. And sometimes it can feel in these big fields in Hold'em that you just spend so much time to make a run, and you've got to get so lucky to get to the real top, you know? And it feels like it can be a time sink sometimes, and the smaller fields in PLO, and it's a much more captivating style of game. I can see your argument there.
ST Södra Trondelag.
So you're preferring to play cash or tournaments at the moment?
ST, the number from Salma is ST 423.
It's like my main volume is cash, but I also like try to play tournaments as much as possible, sort of.
Yeah.
During the series or mostly on Sundays. So like what I usually do is like I grind cash throughout the week, and then on Sundays I play tournaments. That's like my regular week. But then depending on the series running and cash tables available, we can switch here and there.
How have you found it? Because as a cash game player myself, the rake and the quality of games has, in terms of the advantage for online players, has really become more tricky in recent times. So have you had to move to some app games, and do you occasionally play like live private games, or do you feel like there's still enough value in mid-stakes online?
There is definitely still enough value in mid-stakes online. I have not played any private games, like I don't have access to them.
Yeah.
And I don't really trust apps.
Yes.
Just because of the shady nature of it.
Yeah. The fact that they're not regulated, there's no security department. You're just kind of, playing for large amounts of money, and you're not sure of the random number generator, all of these kind of factors.
Yeah, there are many factors. That you have.
It makes you feel quite paranoid, actually. Yeah.
Sure.
So Lucy is going to limp blind versus blind with this King Queen 8-4. He expects not to get punished too much, I guess, with all of these medium stacks tightly bunched and a super short stack over there in seat 7. So I think he feels like he can limp in here and kind of realize his equity quite easily.
I think it's solid. Like you have to limp a lot, especially with the big blind ante.
Definitely, yeah. Interested to see if he goes for a stab here. He's got some relatively decent interaction. He's got that 8. He's got a bottom pair. So he blocks some 2 pairs, blocks bottom set, blocks it straight, backdoor flush draw. Let's go for check. There is the straight. Would you have taken a stab on that flop, or do you think it's a little too connected and maybe does favor the check back range quite heavily?
So there are 2 different angles to look at it. Like one is from a purely theory perspective, like let's say in a cash game, and the other one the ICM and that stuff. And I'm not really that familiar with the ICM in this spot about this hand, but from the theoretical like cash game standpoint, this is a good leading hand for sure, because that just has poor playability playing as a check call, but you have a solid blocker, so you have additional equity. Your range is uncapped, so you can represent all that. And
there's quite a lot of you can achieve a lot, right? If your opponent has Jack 10-10-3 rainbow or something, he just has to fold, and that's a better hand, right?
Listen, in this spot you only have a pair of fours. Even if opponent folds like any 4 overcards or like any 5x, any 4x, it's already like a massive win.
Call.
Wow, Jussi snap calling there on the river board pair with his straight, and Stas, who made a quite adventurous call on the turn with absolutely no equity whatsoever, floats him and bets the river pretty small and gets found out there. What do you think about that turn float? That's really wild, isn't it?
Optimistic.
That's the kind of conservative language we need in the booth. I'm a couple of days in. I'm just kind of swinging from the fences now.
It's my first time doing commentary.
I know. That's you have to be neutral and polite for sure.
Like I'm respectful to everyone.
Yeah. Maybe he just thought that Jussi was randomly barreling and that his float was going to, work a lot on the river.
It's easy for us seeing the cards, right? Maybe guy has some notes on him. Maybe they have a specific dynamic that we don't know about, and
that's true.
Cannot exclude those factors.
So when you set up for your online grind, do you prefer to play night times or daytimes? How do you sort of work that into your schedule? Because that's something that I've been thinking a lot about recently and is quite difficult as a poker player because you've got so much free time, but you don't in the same ways, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's a trappy way of thinking, like you have a lot of free time when you quote unquote manage yourself as a poker pro.
Yeah.
Like your day schedule should be like quite solid and consistent in terms of studying, like hand review and session review, some calls, etc.
Chats on Discord and this kind of stuff.
Chats and gym and whatever diet, and then family stuff and all the things. And you have to manage it all on your own. When you work for somebody, like your boss tells you everything exactly you need to do, right?
Yeah, get in here at 9 and leave at 5.
9 to 5. I know these tasks I need to be done by 5 p.m. and then that's it. My head is free. I'm like I can go drinking with my buddies, whatever. But when you manage it on your own, you really have to take full responsibility and essentially build from the ground up the whole way that works for you, and how you build it. You try different things. Like you see what's working, you try, make mistakes, see what's working, what's not, exclude what's not working, keep the ones that work, then maybe start adding another one.
Yeah, this trial and error approach, you need to know, it's a very individual process. And I'm someone that comes from a background of playing all the time and just burning out and going through periods of playing an A game for a while and then it's B game, C game, D game until I'm just kind of fed up. So I think for me, the mantra I have now is less is more, in the sense that you don't want to be at the computer for 16 hours a day kind of obsessing with the game. It's very healthy to get out, get some sunshine, get a little bit of socializing with your friends and, talk about non-poker factors, because for me personally, I feel that online is just so readily available. You can always jump into a game, you can always jump into a tournament, but almost doing that to excess, as from learning about myself, has been very tricky.
And look, we have two.
Yeah, 2 all-in hands here. Ace King, King Deuce. Lars has been extremely patient, but facing the short stack here, no reason to fold such a strong hand in 4-card. There might be arguments in 5-card ICM about not taking the Ace King King single, but I'm not sure anyone that's really overly clued up on 5-card ICM.
You need to call, need to call.
And so we're going to be off to the races here. 65% for Lars with that dominating situation. And Gisle has a pretty tasty hand, +1. He's going to be going through the big blind and the big blind ante in 2 hands. So pretty much a dream pickup. Ace, Queen, 10, 8. Nice and connected with the nuts suit.
Some flush help.
Thanks.
And a fairly classic encounter. So Gisle looking for some hearts, maybe a straight. And that's a real swing and a miss for him, just giving him almost no hope. Needs some kind of backdoor trips or two pair, and the deuce seals the deal. Yeah, that's a real sickener. He came in, he's laying third in chips on the final table, lost every all-in, and now is dead on the turn for his tournament life. That's just the way it goes sometimes, the brutal game.
Yeah, you need to accept it and deal with it.
Exactly.
Variance is part of the game.
Yeah, observe it for what it is, move on, jump in the next tournament. You got the high-low starting soon.
Yeah, and that, by the way, that's a good moment to bring up the point that the mindset is super crucial. Like, you need a strong mindset being a poker pro. Because imagine, like, he busted now, right? He came in third and busted eighth. And he has to play like one or two more tournaments tonight. Like, he's not going to be playing in his A game anymore. Like, if he, like, I don't know how he reacts to this beat. Or
if he's straight to the bar venting to all of his friends on voice message or something. This guy got me, and then this fish. An interesting question is, when you're streaming, do you feel like you need to be more emotional and sweat the random flips and all-ins, and does that affect your kind of tilt control in any way?
When I started streaming, I decided for myself, like, I would not be able to do it if I wouldn't be myself. Like, if I don't have this pressure that I need to be this, I need to be that. I am just myself. I am what I am at the tables, and that, like, that takes my mental, saves me my mental, was it CPU, right? The mental bandwidth.
Computer power,
like,
you mean.
Yeah.
That's an interesting way of looking at it, yeah.
I don't have to, like, look at myself from the side every time to, like, monitor myself and think about, what's other people gonna think about. I don't care. Like,
that's strong.
I know up front I'm gonna attract people that want to stay and consume my content. That's about it.
Yeah, so authenticity is going to attract the people that you need around you anyway, or the types of viewers that you want, that you feel that you could add value to, right? So you don't mind being just yourself and having that filter. If people want to come and dick around and talk about, like, fantasy sports or something, you're just like, look, man, this is a poker stream, you know?
Yeah. And if, like, I accepted that you can't please anyone, and I'm not trying to, like...
Yeah.
You don't like me, that's cool, that's mutual. So you can find another channel.
Very strong. Okay, so Renars, unfortunately, does get through most of the table, but it's Riku lurking in the big blind with the pocket rockets and good side cards. So really a massive equity advantage here versus the ace, queen, jack, deuce. And it's just a question of time.
There's no folding, obviously.
No, yeah. This is what I mean about Riku. He's a very kind of calculated player. He takes a lot of time in every spot. But in this spot, you know your opponent isn't folding, so let's just get the chips in, right? He's kind of, you know, giving him a little eyeball for 20 seconds there.
Looking for a balance in every aspect.
No, not the flop.
3, 4, 5.
So 850k in the middle, and it's Renars from Latvia who's run into a powerhouse here. Does flop a gutty. He's got some equity, backdoor hearts as well, could come into play. The 3 is about as hopeless as he could have hoped for on the turn. Needs the 10 only. So an unfortunate bust out there from Renars. Nice take from +1, understanding that he's going to go through the big blind ante soon, and that's going to be problematic for him to have any serious chance of winning the tournament. Got to take spots in these. And it's Riku now who's really surmounting a challenge for the chip lead. He's picked up some big hands and some big spots, but he's also taken the initiative, and it's been nice to see him almost sort of come into the role of the table captain, as the chip leader has been relatively passive so far. We haven't seen an awful lot from him.
Get a chance to look at the stack sizes.
Yeah, so there you can see it's Sammy and Stas kind of grappling around for pay jumps. The current payout for the remaining 6 is 9,280, and it's 11,900. So it's going to be a 2 buy-in pay jump, which compared to the 14 or 15 buy-in pay jump at the top, you can see it's quite a top-heavy structure.
Yeah, and this with
Hyvä
this
paikka,
specific
tuli
stack sizes,
ykköspariin.
it should be like extremely interesting dynamic at the table with 2, 4, and 5 big blind stack depth,
Yeah.
and the rest 3 guys, or 3, 4, like 30 to 20, 23, 25-ish, 30, like.
Should be when the short stacks aren't in the hand, should be almost opening any 4 cards. I think that's the way that I would approach it, because they're just under so much pressure.
Yeah, and it is interesting stack depth for even for the chip leader, because he cannot effectively call any 3-bet,
Yeah.
like, sort of, and
Yeah.
that's where like other middling stacks can, if they recognize the spot, they can sort of apply.
You can widen their aggression or counter-aggression.
Absolutely.
But
I mean,
what's happening is that we're not even seeing opens from the chip leader, so that kind of dynamic is unlikely to even form at this stage. It's like the chip leader is playing like a tighter than usual kind of cash ranges or something.
But there are several players with similar stack size, and that applies to any of them.
Yeah.
Anywhere 30 between 30 and 25 or something like that.
When you play live tournaments, there's a big difference, because in online people raise fold a lot more on final tables and kind of understand that they don't really want to collide. Do you feel that the variance is amped up even more in live, because people just don't really seem to fold to 3 bets at whatever stage of the tournament?
It's not that much different from online final tables or tournaments in general. Like if you, I know, have you had a chance to look into any of the final table PLO ICM?
Yeah, I was just looking through those ranges last night. Yeah, they're quite interesting, right?
They are interesting. And can you like assume like how far the field from these teams is playing right now, like the general field?
Yeah, and I was like shocked. I looked at the 6 max. This is final table, right? So 6 max, everyone has 10 big blinds, and the opener is supposed to open like every ace-x rainbow hand, essentially. Like from most positions, you know, ace-9, 5-3 rainbow, you just pot and fold to a 3-bet or something.
Yeah.
And then no one's finding that.
And then there are spots, like I'm not talking about 10 big blinds, but like 30, 40, whatever. Like it depends on the stack depth and some specific situation, but there are spots on ICM final tables where the solver suggests you to 3-bet from the bottom, for example, a hand like ace, jack, 6 deuce, being all the same suit. Like
Yeah, as a 3-bet fold.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because
Just to use the random ace blocker. Yeah.
exactly. So what you essentially want to be doing, like from solver perspective, you want to be 3-betting extremely polar, so either aces or just ace blockers, sort of naked the most that you not suffering folding many equity away when you get like jammed on.
Exactly, yeah. And that's something I've seen.
And that's not that, like this type of move, like I'm not talking about this trick, but
It's not common in the mid-stakes for anyone to know that type of information, but I have watched some of the Scoop and W-Coop final tables, and these guys have had access to this ICM kind of knowledge for a while, I think, because I saw some of the super strong Finns using these kind of combos, and I was like, what the hell is going on here? And then I started to think about it, and it made a lot of sense, right? Because, you know, a lot of people are still playing these kind of like linear cash game range kind of 3-bets and 3-betting the ace, queen, queen 10, and then facing the 4-bet. And actually I did that on autopilot the other day in a live tournament, and I got 4-bet, and I was like, I've really messed this one up. Yeah. Yeah.
that happens. That happens.
Yeah.
But in order to implement that kind of moves, you need to have that knowledge.
Yeah.
In order to get that knowledge, you have to spend time studying.
Exactly.
Right?
So like you said, your routine, even though that you don't have one, or you don't have someone barking a routine at you, do this, do that, you have to create that. And if you want it enough, the information is out there, the knowledge is out there, and the potential for success is greater with that kind of implementation. So Lars, with these aces here, what sort of sizing? Do you just go for the full pot? think he.
I think full pot is the only sizing really with the stack sizes, with the two shorties in the mix.
Agreed. And do you also have a limping range in this kind of situation as well? Just limp or pot, or do you just go pot only and play a little bit more snug?
Not with 2-5 big blind shorties in the mix. I don't have limping range.
Yeah.
It just doesn't make much sense from theory perspective, I would say.
Yeah, and having being six-handed, playing for the big blind ante as well, that's quite a significant ante out there, so it does incentivize more aggression and less limping, I guess. Because when there's a big ante in play, I've looked at some of like these app game kind of dynamics where everyone's in for some massive ante and it's kind of like lots of limping, but I think on final tables you're just more heavily incentivized to steal the chips out there and move on to the next one, right? Difficult to counter the pot first in as well. These guys are going to be pretty razor tight behind.
Yeah, and people also tend to overfold way more than they should from every position. So raising like makes you even more money than it should.
Yeah, it's just a print, especially on final tables. People don't want to make themselves look silly or get in the mix with what they perceive to be a medium strength hand. Okay, so back to 5 card, which was a bit of a melee, and Jan has found a decent hand. He's been relatively absent for the last orbit or two, just kind of not really picking up much, not really driving his chip lead, and has work to do if he wants to regain the percentage of chips in play as he did when he came into the final table. He had 2.3 million, I believe. And wow, look at this. Sammy waking up in the big blind. He's been very patient, but he's found the double suited aces. And based on all of the folded cards, we actually see Jan as a slight favorite here, which is surprising. But for those of you at home that play 5 and even 6 card, you know that it's never a done deal pre-flop, right?
You play any 6 cards?
Sometimes. It is where a lot of soft action is, but I can't say I like the format, you know. Wow, bottom 2 there for Jan. And Sammy now hoping for an 8 or a diamond. So pretty fair fight going into the river. Ooh, that's a cold one. Bottom 2 holding up there for Jan. It's just not really much you can do, is it?
5 card, 50-50.
5 card flipperments here deep, and that's going to be another pay jump as we're up to 11,900 with the top prize of 44,500. Nice little little smirk to the camera. He's going to be happy coming from behind to take that one down. And the average stack you can see is 1.2 million, so about 20 big blinds. So the structure has caught up a little bit. It was looking pretty short and a bit frantic at one point, but now a little bit of play. And of course, as we get more and more eliminations, the significance of the big blind ante gets even bigger and bigger, incentivizing more stealing. And here we go. He likes playing slots and loves his mum. Living in Vilnius. Wonder if he was super serious. I don't know many professional poker players that play slots on the side. Is that something that you play? Just no.
I think it was just sarcastic.
I think so, yeah. It feels like some kind of tongue-in-cheek humor.
It's like that they hug to a girl. You know, you're gonna come and ask like completely stranger, like, what are your hobbies? What do you love? Like, you're gonna get something like that.
Yeah, you're gonna get some random stuff, right? So Riku here looks like he's mulling over this one. A similar kind of combo he folded earlier on. Looks like he wants to take it now, 5-handed. He had King 8 7 6 5 double earlier, similar kind of spot, early-ish position. Now he's going to have a go.
Yeah.
Okay, so Georgie, you're going to be jumping into the PLO high-low. Good luck. I'll be seeing you later on, potentially.
Yeah, bro. Thank
the
you
best,
for
man.
inviting. It was my pleasure to be here, and
More than welcome.
good luck with the rest of the stream.
Always
I
good
hope
to chat.
I hope you're gonna see a blast of a game, and these people will show incredible skills.
Fingers crossed on that one.
All right, guys. Thanks for watching. Bye.
Thanks for joining us. Good luck to Georgie heading over for the PLO high-low tournament. If you're around the local area, plenty of side action going on today. We've got the 1500 main event. That is in day 1E, I believe, and then F later on, the turbo flight. So we also have a €150 4/5 card later on. There is the PLO high-low, which is a 250. Interesting to see how many runners that gets. And there's also a €500 no limit hold'em deep stack running as well. So many tournaments on offer, and that's what I like about the structure and the schedules on show here in Tallinn. If you come as a hobby player or a professional, you're never going to be short of tournaments to register or cash games to jump into. The action is rip-roaring and the energy is perfect as well. Give it a shot and check all of the blog and the live updates over at OlyBet.tv. Stas King Jack 9-5 single suited from the cutoff, 250k in his stack. I think he might do better waiting for. Oh, he is double suited, to be fair. Looks like he's going to take it. Late position, smidgen of fold equity. Let's see if Riku gets out the way here. He's only facing an opponent that has round about 4 big blinds.
40 back.
So he's getting a really good price. He's got 5 cards in his hand. It's really difficult to fold in these situations. And that's why I thought maybe Stas would have waited for a slightly upgraded holding, although 5-handed now, he's going to be hitting the blinds in 2 hands. So I guess you can't really blame him. Just looking to spin it in with his double suited and hoping for the best. Riku here, it's not really going to affect his position on the table if he gets it in and loses here. So I think this is one of those spots where you just kind of close your eyes and run the equity. He needs to get in 190k into a pot that would be 570, so 2-to-1 odds. Not sure if that's an energy drink or some kind of whiskey there for Stas, but whatever it is, he needs a bit of luck here. Random flipperments here in the 5 card, 2 relatively mediocre hands, but nothing to be done. Action had to be taken from Stas to try and find that double, and he does flop bottom 2 pair, but lots of live side cards for his opponent. The 4 doesn't change anything apart from bringing in a gut shot, I believe. The 8-7 picks up a 6 and a 10 on the river. Ooh, that's a cold one. 10-5, 2 pair is going to see yet another elimination, and this time it's the Lithuanian. He came in short. He only had a 6.5 big blinds, and his plan was to try and spin that up to the moon. Unfortunately, it doesn't work out for him this time, but at least he got a couple of extra buy-ins and gets a payday of around about 12,000 euros. So well done to Stanislavas. As you can see there, the payouts getting quite juicy now. 44,500 up top, 29 for second, and over 20 for third. So unprecedented numbers here for a PLO event outside of Vegas. 198 runners. I can't believe I'm saying it. It's magical to see such great participation levels here at the WSOP circuit in Tallinn.
1.7.
As you can see, the chip counts now bunching up. We've got 2 runaway chip leaders, Riku and Jan, and Jussi and Lars bringing up the bottom of the pack there. Ooh, looks like we have a surprise guest in the booth. Tele.
Hello, hello.
Hello.
What's cooking? Good looking?
Lots of 4 and 5 card Omaha. Is that a game that you've played before?
I think maybe once or twice online. So don't know much about this one. Obviously, I get what's going on, but like...
It's basically No Limit Hold'em on steroids. You have to use 2 cards.
Yeah.
And you get 4 or 5. So we're playing a round of 4 cards and then a round of 5 cards.
Yeah. The only thing I see is like everything changes so quickly when the flop comes, when the turn comes, and when the river comes.
That's the insight, exactly.
Surprises, yeah.
Things change quickly, so you don't want to overcommit your stack before. In cash games, when you're deep stacked, in this kind of tournament format, players are shorter stacked. We're just going to see a lot more pre-flop action, lots of aggression. Riku is the man that's been really pushing the aggressive side of things, been finding some nice opens and been putting some pressure, as the chip leader hasn't done an awful lot so far.
Okay, and we have 4 left, right?
Yes. And a big flop for Lars here from Norway. Did have to defend his Jack 10-9-5-4 double tri-suit and does flop decently here with the trip 4s. The little dangler at the bottom, finding a strong holding on the flop. Riku here, interested to see how he goes about the business here. He's got top pair. With some nut outs, the jack would be an extremely strong improvement. But we might see him just go for a small c-bet here, looking to target some hands like queens, 10s, 9s, potentially coming along for one. The board is disconnected. There's no straight draws. There's no flush draws. So you're going to see the aggressor bet quite often, I think, in this spot. And Lars does play the trappy side of things, just coming along in the form of a call. He is dead to a hand like kings, just with the 1 out, but obviously blind versus blind with only 640 left.
So if I have a hand like Lars has right now, should I be like confident or not overly?
With 5 cards, you make a good point, because it's not like it's so easy for your opponent to maybe have ace-4 or king-king, right?
Yeah.
But in this situation, he's quite short-stacked, so I think he has to kind of run with it and just close his eyes and go with it. He does play the trappy move on the flop, so what he's trying to do is allow his opponent to potentially bluff random hands that have no equity against him. But I think we're going to see him now. There is a 3 of hearts. I don't think he's going to continue to trap here. I think he's going to be firing some kind of bet, looking to target hands like aces, ace-king, random turn flush draws and straight draws. 640 in there. He goes for this smallish size.
So George, you're a pro at PLO, or
Yeah,
not?
that's my favorite
Are
game.
you?
Yeah.
Seriously?
Yeah, I play every day, cash games.
But like 4 and 5, or?
Yeah, I prefer 4 because I think it's more skillful. 5 can be a bit of a lottery sometimes. It's just kind of lots of 50-50 hands and paying lots of rake. Whereas in 4 card, I think that's the most skillful format of Omaha. And Omaha, if I were to give you like an analogy, Hold'em is like a science, because there's so many mathematical things that have been solved, and everyone plays quite seriously, and there's lots of rigidity around the table. Everyone's kind of focused, and Omaha is more of an art. You know, it's not a game.
Ooh.
Hello.
Who's that there? Hello.
That's us. It's not a game that's like particularly figured out by the computer engines yet. So there's a lot of areas in which you can use a more human approach.
It's a nice way to put it. This game is an art.
It is an art, and I believe that firmly. It's a great game, and it's known as the great game, Pot Limit Omaha, and it's really rising in participation levels and enthusiasm, and especially in the live domain, which is very exciting to see.
1,2.
Like, if you can say which one of these, like No Limit, Hold'em or Omaha, needs more luck, if you can, if you can even compare.
Omaha. Yeah, because there's so much variance. In No Limit Hold'em, if you're a very skilled player and you're playing in a really well-structured deep stack tournament, you're not going to be all in at risk that often and called. You know, you're just going to be winning lots of pots, picking up on situations, blah, 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 attacking weak ranges and such. And in Omaha, it kind of comes that you have that situation that is unavoidable, that you have to get your money in, and that you're not going to be more than like 55, 60% because you just get so many more natural collisions between two hands. One guy's got a set, the other guy's got the flush draw with the straight draw. It happens all the time. And that's where it comes down to luck. Am I going to hold today, or is this guy going to hit the river and I'm going to be taking an early bath?
Seems very artsy.
Exactly. It definitely suits a slightly different personality to Hold'em, I'd say. In Hold'em, you tend to see a lot more introverts. In Omaha, you tend to see a lot more extroverts.
Oh, yeah, that I would like that more, I think.
It's fun. People are a bit more relaxed as well because they always know that they've got a chance. So it's not like in Hold'em when someone is on a pure bluff and they know that they've got no chance to win if their opponent calls.
Yeah.
In Omaha, you're kind of like, all right, you know, I've got the straight draw, the flush draw. Do what you want, buddy, you know?
So you should teach me.
Could be done.
Could be.
But I do charge a high rate, so can you
Oh,
afford
no.
it?
Nobody knows. Maybe with a couple of karaoke songs.
Yeah, potentially. You can swap the expertise.
Yeah.
You see here flopping the wrap with the 6. Wait, he's got the straight flush draw. Okay, but he can't hit it as he's got the deuce of spades and the 7 of spades in his opponent's hand. But he's got a wrap and a flush draw versus a
Did you
gut
say
shot and a
all
flush
in?
draw. Yeah.
I call.
He's defended the big blind kind of wide here with the 7, 6, 5, 3 deuce double try. And he's going to get it in as the equity underdog here, unfortunately finding a hand that has him pretty dominated. Riku has the gut shot that he holds, but also the nut flush draw, which is the all-important component.
No
as
straight
the
flush.
spades are now going to be dead for Jussi. There's a queen on the turn, so Jussi has
Good for me.
just 7-3 at the moment. He's going to need some help here.
Okay.
9 doesn't do it. Ace-3 holding up all of those straight draws and flush draws, and look
Okay,
at
good
that.
game.
Wow.
Just the lowly ace-3 is going to get the
Nice
job
playing.
done.
Anything
So
keep
Finn
up.
versus Finn violence, and this time it's Riku who has now run away with the chip lead. He's been aggressive, he's taken the initiative, and you know what? It's worked out for him. He's had a little bit of fortune there. A couple of all-ins where he's came from behind or even held in that vein. So that's where you get the what we were talking about, the kind of luck in No Limit Hold'em. Riku would have just open jammed pre-flop, gone all in, and Jussi would have had to fold this kind of weak hand. But in Omaha, you're dictated by the size of the pot, so he felt compelled to defend his big blind, and then they flopped a situation that neither player could get away from.
Yeah. So another player eliminated.
Yeah,
3
down to
left.
3. Down to 3, and it's 20.8k locked up for these guys. So they bought in for 1k, and they've 20x'd their buy-in. That is a nice chunk of change.
44,000.
Wow. Yeah, some serious
Beautiful
money.
number.
Certainly is. 44 buy-ins is going in their direction.
So yeah, you should teach me a little bit, like which is a really bad starting hand and from what it starts to get good.
We can talk about that for sure. In 5 card, you want to be... Well,
Is
this
this
is
a
a
good
great
one?
hand. Yeah.
Aces are always good, no?
It's a good starting point. Yeah, ace, 7, 3 deuce, double suited. If you're going to be really nitpicky, then the 7, 3 deuce is kind of a bit of a poorer version of aces because you've got like low cards,
210.
and obviously in Omaha you want as high a card as possible because the higher your cards, the more you dominate the worst straight draws.
But still a good hand to open with.
Exactly. Yeah,
Yeah.
You're delighted to be opening.
What about this one?
Yeah, so he's tri-suited with a pair of 6s. He is in the big blind, so I guess he feels compelled to call, but he is covered by his opponent with a shorter stack remaining, so I think I would have folded this hand at the big blind. He does flop a set, though, so what do I know?
Thank you.
What do you know?
And Riku here has flopped another big flop for him. He's got a bottom end of the gut shot with the nut flush draw and a 7, so all sorts of equity here. Let's see if he goes for a check back here. It's a board that the big blind usually does quite well on. He's going to have lots more hands like 8-5 and 5-3 and sets in his range. He does go for the check. I like the cut of Riku's jib here. He's playing some nice poker. Very disguised when you check back and turn the club, because you're going to get action from a lot of worse flushes that may even just fold the flop. If Jan has the bare queen high flush draw on this connected board, he might just check fold, whereas Riku allows him the chance to potentially catch up and then seek the value later on. So Jan is going to go for kind of mergy bet here with his 6s. He knows he's got the best hand, but he's going to have to contend with a lot of pretty awkward river situations. As, you know, can you name a card that doesn't change the nuts here? It's going to be a diamond, a club, any kind of 9, 8, jack.
And Riku just calls.
Or a paired board. So, yeah, very tricky board to navigate in 5 card. So Riku does come along. Does he find the club? No, but he does have the ace of diamonds. So his second ace is now blocking the nut flush, and Jan is left in no man's land here as the run out punishes him somewhat for potentially not leading the flop and taking the initiative himself, which he could well have done on this low connected board as the big blind. Now, really going to be a difficult situation for him to navigate.
What would you do?
You have to check. You don't have a high diamond in your hand. There's all sorts of hands that now improved. When Riku checks back the flop and then calls the diamond, which brings the flush draw on the turn, it's just so much more likely for him to interact with diamonds than clubs. So I think you have to wave the white flag here and just pray that your opponent doesn't bet. I think whatever Jan does here after this long tank is going to be pounced on by Riku. I think Riku is going to find a big bluff here with that ace of diamonds. That's the key card to hold. Obviously, you block the nut flush, right? So if you have the ace of diamonds with 5 cards in your hand,
He checked.
it's even difficult for Jan to defend with medium diamonds.
What's Riku gonna do?
I think he's going to pot it. I think we're going to see a big bet here. He's got no showdown with his bare pair of aces. It's actually hard for him to arrive with a worse hand at the river. He's got 1 pair.
600.
He goes for 600, yep.
Mm-hmm.
There's a little bit of stress in that voice, I heard. A slightly higher pitch.
600?
Is it 600? And it was almost a question, not a statement, you know?
Yeah.
So
It's always a tell.
a little bit, yeah. You can look out for these things. Not pretending to be the master of live tells because I can see that he's bluffing, but you do tend to pick up on these things when you're on this side of the action in the commentary booth. I don't think Jan can ever consider calling here. It's what do you beat? It's just so difficult. He beats only missed clubs that check back the flops, so there's just very few types of hands that he could be up against here that he does okay. And he does make the disciplined or rather trivial laydown, I guess. And yeah, again, nice execution from Riku. He's come to this final table. He's seen that his opponent on his right was not driving the action, was not taking the initiative, and he kind of swooned in there like a thief in the night and now has taken the chip lead for himself and could be looking at all of those spoils at the top of the payouts, the 44,500. Lars and Jan from Norway have to sit and hope that they can find some resistance or find something to fight back with at this stage.
Yeah, surely everyone wants the first place and the ring.
And the ring is, yeah, it's just so sumptuous. Everyone wants it. It's very difficult to do.
Yeah, I just saw Phil in the main room.
Was he still exuding his great energy and smile?
Yeah, he was.
Nice.
And he was wearing the ring and being very proud of it.
I'm sure.
And I only have good words for him because, like, it was a really good final table.
He brought a great game.
Yeah. It's so enjoyable to watch.
He played, but also acted with a lot of charisma and
He had everything.
panache. Yeah. It was really his day. You could just tell that things were falling into place for him. And Riku, whilst he's not so extroverted or sort of extravagant in his facial expressions, he's brought a similar style of game, you know, and that's just it just shows you slightly different personalities and the way that you can get it done in poker. If you are allowed kind of action-orientated person, you know, talking and kind of working in the psychological sense of the game works well. But for Riku, it's, you know, he's quiet, he's stoic, and he's just very calm and considered.
Yeah, but you can still feel the presence, you know?
You can.
Kind of like strong or like this. You can feel it.
And that's intimidating in itself. So there's different ways to do it here.
Yeah. This is why I always ask from the players, like, how did you prepare yourself for the final table? It's so interesting for me.
Like, question.
Yeah.
You must get so many different answers as well.
Yeah,
like,
some of them are just like, oh, didn't do much.
Just rolled out of bed.
Yeah, but some of them have like really good routine, meditating, sports, walking in the park, doing like non-poker things.
I think sunlight and like a good half an hour to 1 hour period of like no screen time, like no phone time.
Yeah.
The easiest place to do that is in the spa, right? Because you're just not going to take your phone into the sauna unless you're some kind of idiot.
Or you have a really good phone.
Yeah, or you have a good, exactly. Steam-proof
No, but I mean,
phone.
maybe it's luck as well because like if you can get good sleep before, but sometimes, as we talked earlier, there are just some random things that won't let you sleep. And
when you're traveling, or you've got things on your mind, or you're constantly in different
before
locations.
the final table, obviously, you're thinking about it. So it takes a really strong mindset to like calm yourself down, relax, and give yourself the rest you need.
Absolutely. And that's something that's coming.
I would ask Rico, but as I can see, he probably slept good.
I think so. And I think he's got a pretty solid routine as well, from what I would understand. And he does turn trips here. Flopped middle pair with the weak flush draw, turns the trips, and Lars left with not a lot here. He's got just the 7 as an out.
Well, we can only see if Rico has the Phil momentum going on.
Yeah,
we saw yesterday.
He's going to run away with it. I mean, Phil had a couple of moments where it felt like it was getting away from him, but came back strong every time.
And obviously, in poker, anything can happen.
Certainly. Yeah, I mean, if Lars, finds back-to-back aces, 5 hands in a row or something, it can happen, but it's very unlikely.
Yeah.
If you're dealing with a solid, aggressive, and capable player, such as Riku, it's easy for this tournament to go in the direction where these two players that are second and third just start to play for second place prize money and kind of almost eliminate the opportunity to win by just kind of trying to outlast the other.
So what's the money jump? 9K?
Yeah, 8.4K. So 8 buy-ins. This buy-in was 1,100 euros. So very significant and definitely something that these players will be considering a lot, the two Norwegians. Riku going to continue. He's had a pretty decent pre-flop card distribution. It's not like he's been absolutely out of line, just raising the deck. He's had a lot of playable holdings, and this is certainly one of those. And it looks like he is going for the open pot strategy, which is what I like to see. It puts the most pressure on your opponents, and that's what's going to get the job done when there's already 2.5 big blinds out there, and these guys are kind of neck and neck fighting for that second place berth. So there's a strong play.
Sorry?
Trying to get some information.
Yeah, maybe asking him to see if he wants to do a deal.
Yeah, maybe.
I don't think Rico would do a deal here. I think he
Probably
is
not.
just in flow, you know, when you can just tell that someone's feeling it. They're in a big spot, and you know, this is what all of the preparation at home, online play, previous failures in tournaments or heartbreak or coming 9th, 10th, 11th. This is what you dream of, you know, being the overwhelming chip leader, three-handed with the momentum in your sails. There's no better feeling.
Is this a good hand?
Yeah, ace king 10-6, so we got a nut suit. It's connected, very playable. And the great thing about having all high, the ace king 10 component is that you're going to flop a lot of strong top pairs, strong top 2 pairs, so you can dominate a lot of hands. Riku just gets out the way there, tries suit. That's the kind of an example of a real trashy hand, the queen 9-5 deuce, disconnected with 3 of the same suits, so less likely to make a flush.
Mm, 8400.
So we're going to be going into a break very shortly. Riku will be going into that break, and he almost might not even want that break because he's just had so much momentum. You could see the break on the left of your screen in 10 minutes and 30 seconds or so.
Yeah, and it's true. Sometimes it can happen during the break that you just lose.
Yeah.
The focus, the energy, whatever can happen. So yeah, if you're on a winning streak, it definitely would go on.
Yeah, it helps the people that are maybe not playing their A game or maybe need a little bit of sunlight or some fresh air to just kind of mentally regroup. So Lars will definitely be one of those. He's facing a pot-sized open from Jan here and makes another fold, and I just don't think he can keep making these folds. King, queen, 10, 7, 6. It has got a decent suit. It's pretty connected, and he's just going to bleed out if he continues to under-defend his big blind. So we can see Riku, who's a semi-pro pro. Plays mostly online, prefers mixed games, came 3rd in the triple draw, plays drums and board games. Okay.
Ooh, a drummer.
So a strategy man as well. I didn't have him down as a drummer. I thought maybe a bass player, you know, something like that.
I wouldn't say bass player.
No? What's your intuition then?
I would say even...
Keyboard?
Nope. I would say more trumpet or trombone.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the classical side of things.
Not classical.
No?
I just mean like jazz trumpet.
Okay.
Or like,
you
know...
like cool trumpet.
Yeah. Cool. Classical is cool as well. But like, I would say, yeah, probably. I know a lot of musicians, and this is the type he gives out.
Okay.
But really cool if he's a drummer.
Yeah. Maybe he's one of those drummers that likes to take it all out, you know, just to vent all of that energy he's keeping inside.
Yeah. No, he has a good presence. I like it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Lars completes. Riku deciding not to pot here with the ace 10, 10, 5 deuce. I think he's getting away with so much here that he could just continue to pot this one first in with the ace blocker, the 10s. But I understand why he's going for the limp. He just doesn't want to get 3-bet with this particular hand.
So everybody's in, right?
Everybody's in, and Jan flops the best. He's got ace 6 here, so top and bottom, with the queen of hearts as well. Pretty handy side card to have. Lars has got a wrap, so 10, 8, 7. Any 7 to 10 is going to give him a straight. And that's a 4, so he turns even more outs. He's got the 5 now as well, 27%. With the king of hearts as well, the future nut flush blocker. Is he going to lead into the field here? Seems like a pretty decent candidate. If he gets shoved on, he can just fold because he just has a straight draw, but I think it's a nice one to push through with. Semi-awkward spot for Jan, and this is why it's strong to bet into 3 hands, 3 players, as Jan is sandwiched in the middle with the chip leader behind him, who won't often have too much, but you never know. So it's got 3 pair. Doesn't really have any additional equity, so versus a hand like pocket 9s, he's almost stone dead. He's got to look at the board and think of all of the potential flush draws that are out there. Straight draws as well. Doesn't look thrilled at the prospect of continuing here, and you can empathize with him as to why. It's not by any means an easy spot. I think Lars will be compelled to stab quite wide into this pot, because I don't think Riku is really ever going to have too much here when he checks back this type of texture. And Jan does get out the way, and Lars with a really much needed pickup there.
Yeah, he got a good one.
Yeah, exactly. He needed to come in and show some initiative. It had been lacking so far in the last couple of
orbits. We can see a smile.
Exactly. Let's loosen up a little bit. Bit of momentum. Nice little medium-sized pot there.
Ja.
Yay.
Every big blind matters at this stage of the tournament.
Yeah, and even more to the short one.
Exactly. It's the swings are huge for them. If they win that pot, they're back in the game. Over 10 big blinds. If he loses it, he would be left with crumbs. So 20.9k the next payout.
How does it go, like the 4 and the 5? Is it like you do one circle of 4?
Yeah, one.
Like every you
one
move
round
the
of
button.
each.
Okay.
Yeah, so now it's
Not like
three-handed.
each hand going like 4 and 5.
No.
Yeah.
So they do one round of 5 card, one round of 4 card. So
Yeah.
it's going to be 3 5 card hands and then 3 4 card hands. And then when it's heads up, yeah, it becomes a lot more quick, doesn't it? One round of each. So Riku with the King 9 8 5 deuce. Pretty trashy hand, just happy to check back and see a flop for free. Jan has got Queen Jack 9 7 7, double suited, very playable, doesn't want to be folding that kind of hand from the small blind. So it's a pretty evenly matched flop. Riku does have top pair, but Jan has the Jack with a gut shot and a backdoor flush draw. That's 100 into 240. Looking to take the initiative, and Riku just with a weak top pair just gets out the way, not even backdoor hearts. And nice one from Jan there. The shorter stacks are starting to mount a bit of a challenge here, realizing that there's really nowhere to hide in this three-handed match. Gotta take the initiative, else you will.
Should I buy all the hundreds or not the hundreds, but the 5,000s? Yeah. Now? I mean,
Looks like they're going to be doing a color.
They're
rush.
still posting blinds.
Maybe to 25k chips potentially.
And we're going on a break in 3 minutes.
Yes, very shortly. So we might be able to get 1 or 2 more hands in. See if there are any late drama before the break. That break, by the way, will be for 20 minutes, so do stay tuned, and we were going to be back shortly after that. So Jan with the 6-5-4 deuce, single suited. I think he just wants to relinquish that one and allow the chip leader to potentially put some pressure on his compatriot from Norway. Riku with Queen 8-6 deuce, double suited.
So what about this? Okay.
Yeah, it's okay. I think what he's thinking is, I don't really want to get 3-bet with this type of hand because double suited is difficult to fold and it's so disconnected. So he just goes for the limp, and this is the way when you're out of position, it almost helps to keep the pot size kind of small with these weaker hands.
But that's not too bad for Riku, right?
Pretty good, yeah. Top pair and top and bottom pair with an 8-high flush draw. And then Lars has a little piece of the action as well. He's got a middle pair with an open-ended straight draw. So might be seeing a turn card here. Unless Riku does something like pot it. I don't think Lars is going to be going anywhere. So just bets one big blind. Looks like he's going to be devising a strategy of limping quite a lot and putting some pressure on, although he does flop huge here. Ooh, the 8 as well, now improving him to top 2. And Lars with no additional equity versus any kind of reasonably sized bet here. I think you just have to wave the white flag there with the third pair and the open-ender. Again, a very deliberate table presence, takes his time, doesn't rush into anything. And yeah, he does go for the pot. He just wants to maximize versus straight draws versus potentially hands like 5-8 or diamond draws.
240. This is a huge amount from Lars' stack.
Yeah, so Lars taking even with a relatively small pot in terms of big blinds, it's a significant one in terms of the momentum swing for the short stack. So looks like we're going to get one more hand in before the break.
Let's see some action.
We should do. Riku's on the button, right? So he's the
Before
chip
the
leader.
break, you know, you should have a cliffhanger.
Should, to see what will happen next here.
To be continued.
The WSOP Circuit in Tallinn.
2024.
One man comes from
One
Finland.
desire. Comes from Finland. Plays drums.
Can he take all the money?
Maybe he can.
Ace 5, 3-3 double suited certainly will be a hand that he's going to open here. He did devise a limping range in the 5 card. Let's see if he continues that in 4 card. I think I quite like what he's doing actually, because the 5 card is quite tricky and people are a little bit less happy to fold. He's going to be keeping the pot smaller in 5, where it could get out of control quite quickly, and it looks like he's just going to be potting a lot in 4 card. Lars now with the Jack, 9-9. Yeah, it's unfortunate. This is just how difficult it is to play versus someone with the pot-only strategy. It feels like all of your 10 big blinds are being leveraged with this. Rainbow. If he were double suited, I think he'd just close his eyes and stick it in. But the issue is doubling doesn't really affect anything, because it's like you're going to make it, what, to 1.6 million, and Riku's still going to have 2.4, so he's still going to have that overwhelming pressure, opening lots of hands. And in those situations, the maths tell us in poker to be quite tight and just wait for a better spot, even though it looks like you've got the good hand, the double pair.
Yeah, it really looks like a good hand.
Yeah, for sure. It's
if you play no limit hold'em.
yeah, you've got 2 strong pairs,
yeah.
you know. But in this game, it's you know, not even miles ahead of this Ace 5 3-3. It's going to be pretty flippy, maybe 55% or so. Yeah, this is one of those spots where it isn't clear. I think you do have to fold and just wait for these spots to raise your own button and try to steal some chips that way.
Yep.
Yeah, I think that's a discipline lay down there from Lars. He has been on the tighter end of the spectrum, but I think he's played pretty well.
But Jan is still in.
Yep, Jan
This
is
hand.
going nowhere, and that's what Lars wants to see. He wants Jan to potentially bust in this hand to the chip leader, and then he gets the extra money that he's looking for, and he doesn't have to do anything. How good is that, getting paid to do nothing?
The best.
It helps. Oh, hello. So ace versus ace. Neither of them with a particularly strong ace, but Riku has the gut shot, so a 4 would give him the nut straight with a rather disguised wheel. Let's go check. Doesn't want to overcommit himself on this kind of board. I think he checked, right? Or did he recheck his cards?
Didn't
Not too sure.
catch that. Still thinking.
Yeah, interesting spot for Roger. I mean, he's got top pair with a backdoor nut flush draw, but if Riku bets half pot here and he's got his Norwegian counterpart over there sat nestling on 700 or 800k. So Riku bets 200k. I feel like Jan is going to peel one off here, but difficult to know what type of turn card he's looking for. A 5 or a spade, the only natural ones, maybe an 8. It's a jack, so no help to Jan, and no help to Riku either. Riku might be somewhat concerned about this card as it brings in some Broadway straight draws. He's going to consider Jan to have a pretty tight defending range pre-flop, so I don't think he thinks he's going to be this wide. He's going to have lots of Broadway hands, lots of straight draws on the flop, lots of improvements to hands like 2-pair. But when Jan checks this river, is Riku going to be able to find a bluff? Does he perceive Jan to ever check a strong made hand here, such as the straight? Riku just with an ace. I don't think he thinks he's got any showdown value. So the question is, does he think that a bet now will be credible? And it seems fairly credible to me. He could check a hand like ace-10 on the turn very comfortably.
450.
He does go for it. Nice. This is something that a lot of players in Omaha don't have in the locker. They have a made hand, but they realize that it's not enough and they need to turn it into a bluff at some point. It's a very strong part of Omaha players' arsenal. Very often you watch showdowns in this game and you see players just kind of resigning to the fact that, oh, I didn't improve or I'm likely beat here. But what Riku is understanding very well is that Roger is, or Jan I should say, is just very unlikely to have a straight here, and he thinks that he might be the type of player to overfold these kind of 2 pairs and sets.
This is how it goes.
This is how we do it. Right, we're going to be going on break. No more karaoke for now. Join us on Sunday for that one. There's 3 left here at the 1.1k PLO, and we're going to be back in 20 minutes. See you then.
See ya.
Are you going to do the chip race? Are you going to do the good?
Hello, I have John Kite here, who won the PLO4&5 last year. So maybe you can teach me a little bit how the PLO goes. I've been playing No Limit Hold'em, but I know nothing about PLO. And what does the 4&5 mean even?
Yeah, it's a bit different from Hold'em. In PLO, it's more about you need a lot more. You need draws. You need like 2 pair or better. You don't want to go crazy with like 1 pair, like overpair, as you do in Hold'em maybe. Yeah. In 4 cards, it's mostly about having aces, nut suits, high pairs. In 5 cards, you can have a bit more rundown hands, which means like, for example, Jack 10, 9, 8, 7. That's really good to crack aces, for example.
Can we do a little like example or just to... And I really want to know, what does the 4&5 mean?
Yeah,
is it like 1 round with 4 cards and then 5 or?
Yeah, 1 round of each. So we're 8-handed. So first we have 1 round with 4 cards. This is a very good 4-card hand.
This is for me?
Yeah.
Very good card.
Oh yeah, maybe turn it around.
Yeah.
So you like equity run very close in PLO compared to Hold'em. Let's say you have aces versus kings in Hold'em, it's like 80-20, right?
Okay.
But here it's more like 33-66. Even though, so if you have like aces with something, against kings with something, and here you see we have a double suited kings. We love the hand, but against aces we're always a dog, obviously. But when you have kings, you always want ace blocker. That always helps. Less chance for your opponent to have aces.
But in the game, you still have like the flop and turn and river the same way. And
you just get more cards. And a big difference is you have to use 2 cards from your hand.
Yeah,
right?
These are the cards that play with the table, right?
So normally, if there's 4 5s in Hold'em, you both split, right?
Yeah.
Because you both have an ace. But here, you have to use your 2 best cards. So
if you
have a full house. Even though the board is this, no one have quads.
Okay, so still 3 of the cards is playing from 5 cards altogether playing.
So you have a house here and the ace is full, or 5's full of aces.
Okay.
So that's a small difference. Like if there's 4 to straight, having just a jack is no good. Like this is not a straight if this is the board.
Okay.
You see, normally in Hold'em, this would be a straight with a jack, right?
Jack, yep. Oh, this is this.
Yeah, that's fine. But here, you need to use 2 cards. So we need a king. Then we have a straight, right? So that's small differences.
And it goes like 4 cards, 1 round, like each.
Yeah. Every player gets 4
the button
cards.
moves like the whole, circle, and then the other round is 5 cards.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you tend to see more all-ins in 5 card. So normally a lot of people build stacks in 5, and 4 is a bit quicker. People just wait for aces. But in 5, you get so many more possibilities. Because 50% of the time, you even get double suited when you have 5 card. So it's very easy to get double suited with 5 cards. Like here, ace, king, 9, 8, 4. Compared to 4 cards, it's harder to get double suited. People want double suited hands.
But what is the usual mistake that people do, like that you see in the tables?
So normally it's not respecting your opponent or the board. Like if you have aces on this board, it's never gonna be good. Like people overplay overpairs, you know. I was all in with aces once, overpair. Guy had top set, so I was crushed.
Yeah.
But I still found an ace on turn. So,
oh wow! So you have that lucky
I'm lucky.
charm.
I'm lucky today. Even though I just double up a guy with aces.
But is PLO your like top 1 game, like your favorite of them all?
Yeah, at least in cash game. That's what I prefer to play.
Okay.
But on every flop, we want like big draws. If the flop come queen 10 6, even though the guy have aces with a queen, it's very strong, right? But let's see, you have this hand. You only have king high, right?
Yeah.
You have king high, but you have a full wrap. You can get straight with ace, a jack, a king, a 9, or even a 7. Yeah, and
so that would be a nice.
And an 8.
Yeah.
So this is monster flop. And we even have flush draw. So even against aces here, we have like over 60% equity.
Yeah, it's so different from Hold'em.
We have no pair. So it's about putting a lot of pressure. You know your opponent have aces, and like I have no showdown value. You can just go all in on this flop, and he kind of have to fold. It depends. Someone calls, but yeah, you know.
Anything else that I should know before I enter my first PLO4&5 tournament?
I don't know. It's like in every poker game. You just have to pay attention to your opponents, see what they're doing, and I mean, some people like to look at every flop before they go all in. You know, see that you have something, and some others just, if they have a good starting hand, they just always try to push their equity. It depends.
So you should be a little bit smart, and you should have luck as well, like in every poker game.
Of course, yeah.
Okay. Thank you, John, so much for joining us and explaining the PLO4&5 to me. Welcome back to day 6 here at the WSOP Circuit Tallinn 2024. Today was a roller coaster of epic poker action with unforgettable moments and high stakes. starting with the 1,500 euro no-limit hold'em main event, which saw flights 1C and 1D take off. With a jaw-dropping 1 million euros guaranteed prize pool, the stakes couldn't be higher. The competition was fierce, the atmosphere electric, and everyone had their eyes on the prize. The main event is turning into a legendary showdown. Next, we had the 1,100 euro PLO4&5, which broke our records. We received over 177 entries, which makes it the biggest 1K PLO tournament in Tallinn poker scene's history. Last year's winner, John Kite, bagged 34,700 euros. He's in the field, defending the title and eyeing the record prize. The action was intense as they played down into the night until reaching the final table, which will be streamed on Thursday. And in the evening, we kicked off the 555 euro no-limit hold'em progressive bounty, featuring 200 euros bust-out bounties. Players had to bring their A-game to get a chance at claiming those juicy bounties. But the true highlight of the day, the 555 euro no-limit hold'em final day, ring event number 3. The excitement was off the charts as the finalists faced off, each one dreaming of that shiny WSOP Circuit ring and the massive 55,000 euros first place prize. After some nail-biting hands and dramatic bluffs, a new champion was crowned, adding to the legend of WSOP Circuit Tallinn 2024.
All in is the
just goes
choice
for the
of
shove.
Phil Gross. What about Alexei, King 7?
Yeah, so 12 big blinds effective here. King 7 with the big blind ante in play.
Heavily dominated if he was to call off this one.
Mm-hmm.
I think if you call, we can go home.
Amazing. That's like the Scotty Nguyen. If you call, it's all over, baby.
Yeah.
And we've got one in 2024 now.
It's going to be a classic one.
Yeah, we don't have many personalities in the game. They've kind of been eroded by the
he calls,
solvers,
right?
and he gets the call.
It is a call, and Domination Nation for Phil Gross versus Alexei.
He talked him into it.
They did, right?
There's the king, and there's the ace, pal. Wow. Okay, so
right.
Alexei looks a bit hot under the collar after getting muscled off of his equity there with the King 6 in the previous hand. Gets talked into a light call here with the King 7, and we're off to the races. And it's Queen 6. So just the backdoor flush draw for Alexei here. Phil just looking to fade the 7 primarily, but heart could spell disaster on the turn also. 8 is safe. Is it to be the 7?
7 and the 7 only can save Alexei.
And it's the Queen, so Ace King holding up beautifully there.
Our winner, the 555 event, WSOP Circuit event in Tallinn 2024, the no-limit hold'em number 3. And cheers for the winner, Phil Gross of Germany.
How do you feel right now? You just won the ring and the whole tournament and 55,000 euros.
It's hard to realize at the moment. I'm kind of dreaming. Like to get the ring, it means a lot to me, and I'm happy I made it, and I feel really I deserve it.
That's so nice to see. You're so happy and so sincere. How are you going to celebrate this win now?
Well, there's the next, the main event is still to come. I still need to qualify myself for this, so right now there's no time to celebrate. I think we will celebrate after the event, or maybe later today, but I don't know yet. Let's see, we will make something.
Let's go! And that's a wrap for day 6. The fun isn't over yet, so stay tuned for more poker thrills. Good luck to all the players, and let's keep this party going. Welcome Welcome to the WSOPC Tallinn 2024. It has been an absolutely crazy day here at the Hilton Tallinn Park Hotel. Let's take a look at what happened. First of all, we want to congratulate the winner of our first ring event, the 250 euro no limit hold'em, which ran into the early hours of Monday morning, was won by the Latvian Eriks Krūmins. Eriks, you won our first ring event this year. How did you do it?
I just ran really good, won pretty much every all-in, so I can't complain. I was really lucky, really lucky. And played good as well, but mostly lucky.
Were there any spots in the tournament where you thought like, hey, maybe I could win this?
Starting from like top 80, I think, because I had a big stack there. I always thought I could win, but I understand that not everything is because of my skill. I need some luck as well, and I got that luck, and I won.
We kicked off the day with the 555 euro no limit hold'em flight 1C. The competition was fierce as players battled it out, each one determined to advance to the next stage and get closer to that prestigious ring. Next up was the exhilarating 350 euro PLO4&5 progressive bounty. This unique event, featuring 100 euro bust-out bounties, kept everyone on the edge of their seats with its intense strategy and high stakes. The 250 euro no-limit hold'em Queens event was a highlight for sure. This ladies-only 8-handed event saw incredible skill and determination as players competed to reach the final table. The final table is going to be live streamed on Tuesday, so stay tuned for more excitement from these amazing women. But the crown jewel of the day was undoubtedly the 350 euro 8-game final. The final table started out with 7 players all eyeing that ring and the first prize of over 8,000 euros. And after 7 hours of nail-biting action, we had our winner. Please tell me, how do you feel right now?
Actually very proud because I lived in Finland 10 years. They're very good in mixed games. And everyone knows I'm fish. And now I run a decent-sized mixed game tournament thingy. And everyone knows I'm fish. So to do 8 game with a ring and actually win a 3-hour heads-up battle, I'm proud. I'm not that bad.
I agree, you're not that bad at all. Was there a hand that you're like super proud of?
None. I was lucky all the way.
And that's a wrap for day 4. The WSOP Circuit Tallinn 2024 is just heating up. So stay tuned for more updates and highlights. I'll see you tomorrow for another thrilling day of poker action. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. It's day 5 here at the WSOPC Tallinn 2024, and we've reached the halfway of the festival. And today was nothing short of spectacular. Before we get into it though, we want to congratulate our champion of ring event number 4, 350 euro PLO4&5 progressive bounty, Aki Pysing from Finland, who walked away with the ring and 6,300 euros. What did it take you to win the tournament?
Just to be very lucky. It's very important to be born on Sunday.
Ooh, that's the first one. I haven't heard that before, and actually I think I was born on a Sunday, so I have a chance?
Yeah, I should consider giving up the interviews and starting playing poker.
How did you prepare yourself for the final day?
We played all day through, so I prepared for the final table. I ordered a double vodka and soda.
How did you celebrate, or are going to celebrate it?
Well, I celebrated it. I went to the hotel room and woke up my spouse.
and
then we had a cognac and then we went to sleep.
The long-awaited €1,500 main event kicked off today with Flight 1A in the morning and Flight 1B in the evening. The anticipation was palpable as players took their seats, ready to compete for the most prestigious title of the tournament. Downstairs in the casino, we hosted a lively meet and greet, complete with a surprise performance from our in-house band. It was a great chance for players and fans to mingle, relax, and enjoy some fantastic entertainment. After which we kicked off the €150 No Limit Hold'em special, where our celebrity guests took part in and had a bounty on their head. We also had the ladies meet and greet, which included a ladies-only free satellite event. This was a fantastic opportunity for our wonderful ladies to connect and compete. Alongside this, the highlight of the day, the €250 No Limit Hold'em Queen's Ring event, commenced its final, with the winner set to walk away with the coveted WSOPC ring and a top prize of €5,500. The final table battle was intense, as none of the ladies wanted to give up the ring and the prize. Play lasted for about 5 hours before the heads-up battle commenced, and it continued until...
Jamming it in, and here we have it.
At least it's an all in the call, but it's Linda from Finland. She's ahead, of course, with the ace-deuce, so might be the big double up for her.
Could be. She's faded disaster and managed to be quite lucky in these all-in situations. She's won her previous 4 all-ins, I believe, as the short stack. Is she going to continue that run?
You're going to miss for both. Still ahead, well ahead with the ace-deuce.
Oh, there's a jack on the turn.
Big change. Now, Linda from Norway. Oh, there we have our winner in the ladies event. WSOP Circuit event in Tallinn. Ladies event, the ring winner is Linda from Norway.
So you were the one taking home the fabulous WSOPC ladies ring. And I saw the battle, it was pretty tough. What do you think was your advantage in the heads-up game?
First of all, I was lucky. I had great cards. Maybe a tiny advantage that I'm not afraid of losing.
Yeah, I saw your play. It was really good to watch. You were being really brave. But was there a moment in the game when you almost saw the ring on your finger?
To be frank, I knew it was gonna be mine when we were like 4 people left.
4 left.
Yeah.
Nice. Really?
Is that okay to say that?
Why not? It's being honest, you know. Congratulations to our deserving winner. Finishing off the evening, we had the €555 No Limit Hold'em Day 2. Players fought tooth and nail to reach the final table, which will be streamed live on Wednesday. And that's all for Day 5. There's still plenty more exciting poker action to come in the second half of the festival. Good luck to all the players, and let's keep the momentum going.
Hey, guys, welcome back. Andreas is back in the studio with George, and thank you to Georgie and Tele, who was guesting you in the stream previously. Now we just had a short break, and we're back to action. And George, what event are we looking at today?
It's the final 3 of the 1100 PLO. So we're playing 4 and 5 cards, round of each, which means 3 hands of 4 card, 3 hands of 5 card, and looks like the players have moved around in the seat positions just to get a little bit more comfort, I guess. Can be quite intense under the lights, as we say. As I was waffling on there, Lars has got the Jack-Jack 9-7 single suited, and Surely now with the big blind ante coming around next hand, 8.25 bigs. These good jacks combos are pretty dreamy to pick up here.
Yep. So first hand, just back from 20-minute break, these three guys, and this is the current chip leader, Riku.
Ace Jack 10, just getting turbo mucked there. I didn't quite see the fourth card, but surprised to see that. Potentially not wanting to collide with the chip leader behind, and nice pickup for Lars.
Yeah.
He has been on the tighter end of the spectrum, I'd say, but he's picked his spots rather well, and he hasn't shied away when he had the opportunity. A couple of nice multi-way stabs, a couple of slightly wider opens at times, but he's stuck to his game plan and he plays a real solid style. So let's see if he can get back into it here. It's the two Norwegians that are going to be up against what has been a Finnish dominance. And I'm not even surprised that I'm saying that, because we see so many times on these PLO final tables, it's a tale of the Finns usually.
Yeah, usually, as we said earlier, I think we had 5 or 6 of them on the final table last year in this one, and they had 3 finish on this one, and one of them is now our current chip leader. And I know you, George, you mentioned when we started the final table this afternoon that it's a strong player, and you've seen him a lot around the tables.
Yeah, very dialed in type of player. You know, he doesn't really give much away. He's just constantly observing everything he can. So Roger makes it 325. Riku here with the ace queen 6-4 deuce. I think Riku's game plan is not to tangle too much in the 5-card streets, because he knows that the equities are going to run closer and his perceived skill advantage is going to decrease. So we've seen him be potting quite liberally in 4-card, but then limping in 5-card quite a lot. And I think that's actually a really smart adjustment to just how much variance you're going to incur in the 5-card round.
Yeah, as we said, we are playing 4 and 5 cards, and we are doing rounds of each. And now then, since there are only 3 players left, there will be change of game pretty often. And yeah, a bit of difference, of course. And if you just joined the stream now, coming back from the break, George, again, the difference between the two.
Yeah, so 5-card, more collisions, more hands seem playable. Whether or not that to be true is something that, you know, you do tend to want to play similar VPIPs, but there are just so many more hands that to the untrained eye just look playable. Like, look at this, it's great holding, it's going to do very well against all sorts of hands. Let's see if Riku is going to open this one, or if Riku will limp instead and stick to that strategy. The limp earlier on was an ace 10-10-6-4 tri-suit, which I guess makes some sense not to overcommit with, but this one is in a different league here with the strong connectivity.
So we are now 50 and 100k blinds now after the break, and 100k big blind ante as well. And
let's go for the pot.
Yeah.
Gets Lars out the way, and
Easy hold.
Jan also. So I think the situation is a little different now. He's got both players on sub 15 big blinds, so it's a much more attractive spot. Earlier on, both players were on 20 big blinds, I believe. And it made life a little bit more difficult.
Thank you.
So yeah, 5-card, more collision, more defending pre-flop, because you're going to have decent equity. So in heads-up pots, you're just going to flop something a little bit more often.
Some Norwegian going on.
Yeah.
Can you tell what they're saying, George?
Absolutely not. No clue whatsoever. If I was sat there as the Finn chip leader, I'd be a little bit unsettled by this, to be honest.
They're actually discussing about the stream, that we are on a 30-minute delay, something like that. What I picked up from one of them. So yeah, that's
you've
correct.
Got a clue,
we
have
are.
You?
Yeah.
Oh, right, nice one.
Swedish and Norwegian are pretty similar. So yeah, you do understand.
Fair enough.
The most of what these guys are saying. So yeah, some discussions about the stream, I think. Maybe they were complimenting the commentators that watched us in the break and stuff like that.
They probably got the wrong guys.
Listening to the Estonian stream instead, perhaps.
Yeah, maybe. King, Queen, 10, 8, 7. Kind of tricky tri-suit at the bottom end. Certainly takes it down a few notches in the pecking order. Jan, though, with the Ace, Queen, Jack, 3 deuce. Seems like we're already getting into that kind of dynamic where the two players are trying to avoid busting.
Almost the same hand for these guys now as they go to a flop.
Yeah, pretty similar. Sort of non-nutted suits, double suited. Just a 9 or a deuce are the sort of unique cards.
And it's Jan Roger being aggressive.
Yeah, kind of just rifling a bet into the dark here. Not too sure we want to be super aggressive with this kind of hand class, but does get the job done, just leaning on any kind of snap folds.
Thank you. Passe på når det er gratis. If you want, we can only talk Norwegian.
Yeah, I would prefer that.
Yeah, I just said...
only talk in English.
Yeah, it's okay.
Not in Norwegian.
I understand.
I would
Discussions about the language barrier as well.
I think that's very fair, and I think Riku was about to say something and kind of was happy to hear that they were self-aware enough to realize that that could cause an issue or be a little bit of a psychological mind game for Riku, trying to figure out what the hell they're talking about most of the time. So he does have the ace-queen, jack-6, and you surely are going to be seeing a 3x open here with a pretty strong hand in 4-card, just looking to apply pressure to two Norwegians. One down, one left. 300 to go. And what's Lars got to contend with here? 10-10-8-4, very tricky off of this 7 big blind stack.
I just need some coffee. Yeah.
Well, 3 ways to play it. You make the tight fold,
Maybe
you peel and try and kind of get it in on a semi-favorable board, or you commit to the hand and just run your equity here. I think it's all very close between all 3 options. There's not one of those 3 that's really jumping out at me. And I think because his opponent, his fellow Norwegian, is also quite short, but not significant, not close enough. I don't know.
I think he's going through the same problems as you are with this hand, and decides to.
It's tough to know what to do. It kind of looks half decent, but do we want to play? I don't know. Don't know. I need to have a look at that kind of situation.
No, you said you could talk in English.
Bad cards.
Okay.
Riku reminding them that they did actually promise 20 seconds ago, guys. Yeah. English only, please.
Well, he's doing a good job of mopping up the blinds, so it will be of minor concern compared to the chips that he's hoovering into that growing stack over there. Sorry, just little bubbles in my mouth.
And now we're on the 4-card format still. Riku.
Yeah, another big hand. He's picking up some decent pre-flop starting hands here. Ace, Queen, 10-8. I mean, the suit is relatively irrelevant. You're going to be just opening this for pot, rainbow, double, whatever.
Looking at the 2 Norwegians before deciding the amount to open.
Starting to implement a size down, or I thought it was 250. You made it there.
2 quick folds from the Norwegians, and as you see in the background, 3 players remaining, and they are fighting for that ring in the top left corner of the screen, and of course the invitation to Tournament of Champions. And some pretty okay sum of money as well, right?
Oh yeah, 44,500 for a PLO tournament is not something to turn your nose up at, that's for sure. And it's looking like Riku is just going to get the job done here. I've been quite impressed with his game. He's really gone through the gears. His awareness of the final table dynamics has outshone anyone else that we've seen, I think. He realized quite early on that the chip leader was not potentially taking the final table by the scruff of the neck, and said, you know what, if you're not going to do it, then someone needs to. I'll be the one to drive the action, and has capitalized well and played a really solid game.
Now then, is it time for Lars?
Yeah, it seems like it is. It's not his most ideal hand that he's going with here, but it's just going to be good enough. And look at this, Riku is not going to be folding. Ace 10-9-5 double. He could go for a cheeky call and then lead the flop, but I think the hand is just strong enough to stack off pre-flop, and you want to do that with like a bit of the weaker parts of the range.
I think he'll agree with you and put it all in soon, but we'll see.
Yeah.
Or at least put Lars all in.
Yeah, thank you.
This is not what you want to see with the jacks. You'd rather just get all the chips in
I would
and
like some sugar,
not have to deal with
Thank you.
someone donking into you on like a queen high board or something. It comes 10-6-6, so that's going to be enough for both players. Riku's got top two pair, Lars with the over pair, so
no clubs for either player, so still well ahead with the jacks.
Yeah, Lars got the backdoor flush draw as well.
Needing another 10 or an ace now for Riku at the moment. That's his only options.
Some backdoor straight maybe.
Oh my God.
Oh, that's a cold one.
That's a cold one. Lars stands up. This is going to be it. He needs a 6 or an
Sorry, mate.
10, but it's not to be. And elimination. Third place finisher, Lars from Norway, is leaving us and taking down a little bit over 20K for his performance during
not much he
these
could have
2
done
days.
there with those jacks,
Okay, men, det er
unfortunately.
veldig
You would have wanted something a little stronger to go with, but just by the nature of the big blind ante format, just kind of forced into taking a spot.
Always an ace.
And did perform valiantly there. And now Riku has 4-1 chip lead here in the heads-up match, so 4.8 facing 1.2. Should be a formality from here on in, but we've seen stranger things in these heads-up matches so far.
Yeah,
There's been a real swing up and down, left and right, and let's see if this one's going to be as smooth sailing.
Expecting Riku to stay aggressive, though, at least putting the pressure on John Roger. Maybe he's been one of the tighter players on the final table as well.
He's been very selective.
Yeah.
Exactly. With the stack that he took into the final table, you felt it was impossible for him not to make the top 3. But he's been battling for pay jumps ever since we had about 4 or 5 left, which is quite surprising as he had almost half the chips in play coming in.
Okay. Is it 2 and 2 hands or is it double up?
Excuse me?
Is it only 2 hands of each?
Two hands per game, he's asking.
Yes, yeah.
Yep, you're correct, John Roger. Gonna play 2 hands of each.
No, because
one
in
round.
mixed games, when it's 2 or 3 players, we play double up, if you know what I mean. 2 rounds
So
instead of 1 because it's so... I just wonder. Yes.
So I think his suggestion was that the games that he's played in, that he would expect it to be now 4 hands of 5 card, 4 hands of 4 card, because they're just so quick. But I actually think that Riku is going to play a lot of limps here. I think based on the assessment that he'll have of his opponent, he's not going to be super aggressive in raising the big blind, and we can just kind of try and chip away like a woodpecker at any free pots that get offered to us. So look at this. Jan has ace, jack, jack, 9, 6. It's a pretty strong hand. 10 big blinds effective, and he's not even raising that. So his raising range is going to be very, very tight indeed. And that means we get to realize our equity and kind of take it to the streets.
Yeah, and also now that we have the big blind ante still in play during the heads up, it's going to be more of a limping game as well, right? When you're on the button, you don't want to be...
Yeah, especially in the game like PLO that the equities run so close, you just kind of limp everything and go from there.
Pot.
Oh, wow.
John Roger has the blocker jacks, so...
He's got the straight, I believe, the jack 9.
Actually does, of course, yeah.
So he's played his nut straight slow on the second nut straight slow on the turn. Just going to put the chips in now. All in, I guess.
Yep. We have our first all in the heads up.
Yeah, and Riku just has to fold here.
Yep.
He's not even got a nut flush draw, and even if he did have King high hearts with a gut shot. That's probably still not going to be the price versus a hand he knows is going to be at least a set with a flush draw or some kind of straight. I'm all in, I guess. That was iconic.
Yeah. Definitely.
So Riku allowing his opponent to win a small one there. I like the initiative facing the double check line. Don't think we needed to go so big as pot, but it's a very small thing. It's just good to put the pressure on in general. So Jan now, 16 big blinds after being the benefactor of that one.
Yeah, and back to the 4 card.
Should be opening it up here with Ace-Jack 9-7. Pretty beautiful playable hand. And Riku has a decent hand himself, Ace-Jack 8-8. If we were double suited, we'd want to get all of the money in, but with the single suited non-nut suit, don't mind just peeling and seeing a flop. Ooh, wow. Another great flop for Jan. So it's a strong start to the heads-up match from him. Insta-pot as well.
I guess I'm potting.
Yeah, I guess so. I guess I'm potting. I guess I'm all in. Not a type of player that waits around when he's flopped decent. Is Riku going to be able to somehow find some huge adjustment to get away from that? Wow, what a fold. Top pair, top kicker on a board with so many straight draws is not an easy decision to make. I guess is because he had those 2 8s. He blocks hands like 10-8, 8-7-6. Wow.
Yeah.
Pretty solid fold there. Very nicely done. And definitely would have had something to do with the timing and the confidence shown from his opponent that has been relatively quiet on the final table so far.
Yeah, I know we discussed in the very first hands of the final table that Jan Roger was different sizing depending on what holdings he had and stuff like that. Has he been going on that during the entire
just hasn't been
table?
opening that much, so it's difficult to get a read on him. But yeah, when he did feel compelled to, there was a little bit of a pre-flop sizing tell. But it seems like he's got more of a mixed game background, so it's maybe not used to the pot limit element of the game, prefers just to play limit.
Yeah.
Which is understandable.
Now then, maybe the first poor hand in the heads up for Riku, but
yeah, he's been doing pretty well in terms of pre-flop card distribution. Jan continuing to play. I mean, the Rainbow Queens, I think, is fair enough to check back here. Don't want to be getting 18 big blinds in versus a limp raise.
And here we are with the chip leader, Riku. Close up. Gets the call.
Yep. Absolutely snapped, in fact.
Jack on the turn.
Semi-interesting. Jan now picks up the nut straight blockers. Oh, and he's going to use them very nicely. And Riku forced to fold his king-queen, as he did turn a gut shot. Blocks the bottom end of the straight as well, but and with a nice little maneuver there.
Yeah, edging closer. 2.2 now for Jan.
Yeah, this is not the start at the heads up I was expecting, but Jan has been hitting flops and also finding some nice moves there. That's the first bit of sort of semi-counterintuitive aggression, I'd say, we've seen from him.
Yeah.
Everything else has been fairly standard, so he's definitely got some moves in his locker. Potentially just taking him a little bit time to warm up and get used to the new surroundings, the coming into the bright lights of the feature table with a huge chip lead is by no means an easy feat.
Back to 5 cards now then. This is the 1100 4 and 5 card PLO final table, and we're heads up. Jan Roger, Norway. Comes with a call, limping. Riku, wishing it was another game than
yeah.
PLO this time.
Potentially. King 8, 4, 4, 4. Horrible hand, but at least he's got 2 suits.
Check.
He's 3-3, both players really with a swing and a miss here. I think Jan's the type of guy that's going to stab.
Yep.
Oh. Yeah. Seems to like to do the one and done from what we've seen from him so far. Isn't necessarily fussy about the hand selection that he goes with. Just, okay, you check, I bet, and when he's in position, seems to be the way he goes about things. So Riku, who did battle quite valiantly to pick up a considerable chip lead, has now faced a couple of knocks in the heads-up match, and that happens all the time. We see it every event so far this week has been a topsy-turvy heads-up match.
Yeah, it has. And here we see the money that they are fighting for. 44,500 up top and 29,000 for second places. And there hasn't been any deal discussions yet. I know there were such big difference. There was 4-1 for Riku when they came heads up. So
yeah, so it wouldn't have been much more than second, really.
No. So we continue the heads-up play with Riku limping this one. Jack 7-7-5-3. Checked for Jan Roger. There's the queen for him.
Check.
Small piece with the 5 for Riku. Jan Roger's checked it.
Yeah. I don't think we want to be betting this kind of combo. Just don't really have that much board interaction. Bottom pair and kind of a straight draw blocker. I think we're going to have better candidates here.
Adding the flush draw for Jan as well.
Yeah. Going to take this one down most of the time unless Riku can find some kind of 7. It's a jack, so Riku with jack 5 blockers.
Goes check, check. So small pot for Jan.
Yeah, not really much to talk about there. Jan with a fairly obvious just check down and see what happens. Some straights emerge on the river, although less likely in your opponent's range as they didn't bet the flop or turn at any point. So as things move on here, Jan
Nice
with the
hand for
momentum. Yeah, nice hand as well, right? He's been picking up some decent holdings and winning some chips.
275.
Goes for 275 here with his king, jack, jack 9. Interested to see what he'd do versus a pot 3 bet. Riku has a little piece, king 8, 6, 3 double. Why not? Got a big blind ante in play, getting a slightly better than normal price. Sure. Let's see a flop with a double suited hand in heads up. Okay, so bottom middle pair for Riku with some backdoor straight draw, backdoor weak flush draw potential. Jan again seems to be a c-bet happy kind of player. Doesn't really have any board interaction. Backdoor flush draw and just a naked overpair. But
Yeah.
it is a good board to target, especially if you're going to get hands like king 8, 6, 3 to just fold.
Sorry, do you want to look at the numbers since I think we're pretty even stacked at the moment?
I think you have some more on me, don't you?
I think it's probably...
You're correct, Jan, but
pretty
it's not by
even.
much. 3.1 versus 2.9 million now. So their discussion does maybe have a discussion about a deal coming up now.
Can you stop the clock if we discuss ICM?
Yeah.
Looks like that's what's going to happen. So we're going to have a 5-minute break, right?
Yeah, we're gonna leave you a little bit time for these guys to discuss the break, discuss the deal. I was about to say. So let's give them 5 minutes, and we'll be back shortly with the continuation of the heads up in the 1100 PLO. See you soon.
Welcome back to day 6 here at the WSOP Circuit Tallinn 2024. Today was a roller coaster of epic poker action with unforgettable moments and high stakes. Starting with the €1,500 no-limit hold'em main event, which saw flights 1C and 1D take off. With a jaw-dropping €1 million guaranteed prize pool, the stakes couldn't be higher. The competition was fierce, the atmosphere electric, and everyone had their eyes on the prize. The main event is turning into a legendary showdown. Next, we had the €1,100 PLO4&5, which broke our records. We received over 177 entries, which makes it the biggest 1K PLO tournament in Tallinn poker scene's history. Last year's winner, John Kite, bagged €34,700. He's in the field, defending the title and eyeing the record prize. The action was intense as they played down into the night until reaching the final table, which will be streamed on Thursday. And in the evening, we kicked off the €555 no-limit hold'em progressive bounty, featuring €200 bust-out bounties. Players had to bring their A-game to get a chance at claiming those juicy bounties. But the true highlight of the day, the €555 no-limit hold'em final day, ring event number 3. The excitement was off the charts as the finalists faced off, each one dreaming of that shiny WSOP circuit ring and the massive €55,000 first place prize. After some nail-biting hands and dramatic bluffs, a new champion was crowned, adding to the legend of WSOP Circuit Tallinn 2024.
All in. It's the
just
choice
goes for the
of
shove.
Phil Gross. What about Alexei, King 7?
Yeah, so 12 big blinds effective here. King 7 with the big blind ante in play.
Heavily dominated if he was to call off this one.
Mm-hmm.
I think if you call, we can go home.
Amazing. That's like the Scotty Nguyen. If you call us all over, baby.
Yeah.
And we've got one in 2024 now.
It's going to be a classic one.
Yeah, we don't have many personalities in the game. They've kind of been eroded by the solvers, and he gets the call.
It is a call, and Domination Nation for Phil Gross versus Alexei.
He talked him into it.
They did, right?
There's the king, and there's the ace, pal. Wow. Okay, so
right.
Alexei looks a bit hot under the collar after getting muscled off of his equity there with the King 6 in the previous hand. Gets talked into a light call here with the King 7, and we're off to the races. And it's Queen 6. So just the backdoor flush draw for Alexei here. Phil just looking to fade the 7 primarily, but heart could spell disaster on the turn also. 8 is safe. Is it to be the 7?
7 and the 7 only can save Alexei.
And it's the Queen, so Ace King holding up beautifully there.
Our winner, the 555 event, WSOP Circuit event in Tallinn 2024, the No-Limit Hold'em number 3. And cheers for the winner, Phil Gross of Germany.
How do you feel right now? You just won the ring and the whole tournament and €55,000.
It's hard to realize at the moment. I'm kind of dreaming. Like to get the ring, it means a lot to me, and I'm happy I made it, and I feel really I deserve it.
That's so nice to see. You're so happy and so sincere. How are you going to celebrate this win now?
Well, there's the next, the main event is still to come. I still need to qualify myself for this, so right now there's no time to celebrate. I think we will celebrate after the event, or maybe later today, but I don't know yet. Let's see, we will make something.
Let's go! And that's a wrap for day 6. The fun isn't over yet, so stay tuned for more poker thrills. Good luck to all the players, and let's keep this party going.
Welcome back to the studio, guys. Andreas and George here with you to conclude the 1100 PLO 4/5 cards. The heads up is just had a little break.
Absolutely. So they were talking some
maybe I have
deals,
to
some
go.
ICM discussions, and I believe that a deal has
What's
been
it-
reached.
what is
You
it
have the
for you?
information on
I'll
that
go
one,
to
Wesker?
Vegas.
Yeah, they did an ICM deal, and the rules on this one is that they have to leave 10% of what they are playing for to the winner. So they're pretty much even in stacks, and Riku has secured 33,000 plus, and Jan Roger has secured 32,000 euro plus. So they're almost taking down the same amount and playing for 7,500 more, and of course that ring that we see pictured as well.
Absolutely. The ring and the all-important 7,500 euro. So it's by no means going to be, both players all in blind like you do see in some deals where they don't leave anything to play for. We still have some business to attend to here.
Yep, and Riku does that by lipping, and quick check from Jan Roger, and we have the next flop for the heads up. So the 8 for Jan Roger, as you see, gets him the lead in this hand. Not much for Riku on this one, but he goes for the bet. Not falling for that one that easy, Jan Roger. Yes, I'm calling. And 10 on the turn. No help for Riku at all. If he's going to stay aggressive, or what do you think, George?
Yeah, I'm not sure about his flop stab, to be honest. I guess he's got some future interaction with, like, wheel cards and backdoor spades, and the pocket fours maybe actually make it fair, because you do get some bigger pocket pairs to fold. So the lower down you go, the more you achieve. He does
look at this
bang
one.
off the set on the river, the one outer.
Which
And,
makes 2 pair for Jan Roger as well.
Oh, wow, yeah. So that's going to be middle 2 versus a bottomy set. There's definitely not going to be checking back here. No flush, no real conventional straight available, just the deuce 5. Just thinking a question of how much now is still some hands to target. Ace 3, 10 8. You probably would have heard from ace 10 or ace 8 by now. Snaps it off.
Yeah, all right. So we'll see the bad news that 4 didn't help him. It was, on the other hand, Riku that got favored in the set for him. He's going to take down this pot, the first coming back from deal discussions. So
Yeah.
they've been heads up for a while. If you just joined us after this little break, they did start the heads up on a 4-1, right, for Riku.
Yeah.
And then Jan Roger got almost even, and they had some deal discussions, and now they're playing for the ring and another 7,500. Here it is.
And it's a nice start to the post-deal heads up there for the Finn. Riku getting a quick call there, and I think a very reasonably one. The only hand that is really repping is a set of 4s or 5 deuce. So when you got a 4 in your hand, and 5 deuce is relatively less likely. Can't blame him for making the call and keeping his opponent honest in that one. So let's see if Jan can make a comeback here. King 7, 6, 4, 3. One issue I have with the big blind anti-format in heads up is that it just kind of turns into a bit of a limping game, and there's just not really much action. Although Riku is going to take a slightly wider one. He's got the 8-3 deuce. Those are pretty poor components, but he does have the chip lead and 2 strong suits, so feels compelled to do something about it. 8 deuce deuce here. Is he going to check? Exactly. Is he going to check? Is he going to allow Jan to potentially take a stab at it? He's going to have a lot of awkward hands on this type of board texture. Lots of ace highs, king highs, random overpairs with no side cards. So it does make sense to check boats and maybe mix with your deuce X here. Some betting, some not betting. Look at this from Jan, just coming out absolutely slinging to the hills here with his bare king of diamonds, backdoor straight draw type holding. And this is exactly what Riku wanted to see. To be fair to Jan, he's really gone through the gears a little bit. I felt like he was a bit nervous at the start of the final table, and in the interview I got that kind of sense from him, but he doesn't really shy away from a chance to bet at the pot. If someone's checking, he's usually firing something in there. And, you know, that style is very tricky to play against, so I'm not surprised as to how he amassed such a big chip lead coming into this final table.
And Riku quickly checks. More trouble for Jan Roger.
Watching here, we've got just bare king high with the diamond, firing shells into the abyss here. Wasn't perturbed by the check call from his opponent. And I think in some ways he wants to not have the diamond now, because the flush draws are going to be the ones that are likely to get out the way, that kind of felt like they had to call one street, being the ace and the king high flush draws if you're targeting folds. So, yeah, not really sure why he's, you know, not just using a hand with a bit more equity potentially. Some kind of straight draw, some kind of flush draw himself. Hard to say.
Riku trying to look as weak as possible.
Yeah, he's
pretty happy with his hand.
He's thinking of Vegas and the Mirage right now.
All in.
Yep, comes with all in and quick snap fold from Jan Roger.
Yeah. With his tail between his legs, that was...
Yep, 500.
Left.
Why did you take so long? And then punches the button across to him. You can't ride it. That is brilliant comedy.
Yeah, and not much reaction from Riku. He's dialed in.
He doesn't care. He
doesn't listen to it. Doesn't matter if Jan Roger speaks Norwegian or English, or he's not listening to him,
He
right?
can say whatever he wants right now, right? He's just taken the bait. Riku finding a check in a spot where maybe he was aware that Jan is particularly bet happy in those kind of situations. We've seen a lot of C-bets from him. We've seen a lot of random stabs. Doesn't seem to be the type that is careful with that kind of hand selection, let's say. So 54 playing 5 big blinds. It would take a mighty comeback here to see the Norwegian back on track.
500 total.
So 5 big blinds in play.
Yeah,
2 of those already in the
middle.
in the middle, and Riku is going to pot it.
Nice 4 there.
Jan's not sticking around anymore. Double
Kings
suited
for
kings.
Jan Roger.
So Riku has some sort of half decent hand, maybe with an ace. Oh, he's got aces. Wow. Okay.
Whoa, look at this one.
What a caller for the last 4 big blinds.
Yep,
Yeah,
confirmation.
that will happen anyway.
Aces.
That's true.
Single suited
that's
and
true.
the
Yeah,
double suited kings for Jan Roger, but is this going to be it for him? He's on his first poker trip ever outside of Norway, actually, Jan Roger.
Really?
So yeah, well, now it's a chance for him to double up or have second place, because look at this one.
It's a good flop bottom pair with the king high flush draw. So 48% playing 52 with it's evened up. Oh, but that's a full house for Riku.
Do you have the diamonds as well?
4-3.
Full house.
Yes.
Oh, sorry, I didn't see that. Whoops.
There it
They
is.
missed him themselves, but there we go. We have crowned the winner of this PLO 1100 4-5 cards in the WSOP Circuit Events Tallinn 2024. This is second place, Jan Roger of Norway, and our winner will be in picture soon. Riku of Finland is taking down the event, and George, you called this.
Yeah, I think he played excellently. I think his game seemed to be the most ICM aware, and he really realized that the pressure that he could put on the final table that maybe wasn't being utilized by other players. Some nice hand selections, some nice moves in there, but overall a really solid style of poker, just capitalizing on the exploitative factors that he deemed to be correct, and really impressed with his game, really impressed with his style, and a worthy winner from Finland. It's very often we get to say that in this PLO format, a tough poker nation, that's for sure.
Yeah, and a record-breaking event as well. 198 players in the 1100 PLO, and I know, George, your PLO player, you wish you would have been in this one, right?
Yeah, we've still got the high-low.
Yeah.
It's a 250 event. Might be jumping into that one for a little bit of fun. Not often you get to play live split pot formats. So that's going on. We've got day 1E and day 1F of the main event, right?
Yeah, both of them running right now. Or actually, the later one is 2100 tonight, and 9 o'clock is the last flight of the main event. And of course, you can also jump in that one tomorrow on day 2 if you want to late register. But yeah, that will be it for us almost for today. We're going to, of course, do the winner presentation with Riku, and then we'll be back with some more action tomorrow as well.
Awesome. Looking forward to that one. Thanks very much for everyone tuning in. Let's go to the presentation, shall we?
Yeah, let's leave it to Teresa.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we have a winner in ring event number 7. This is the PLO4&5. 198 entries in the 1,100 euro PLO4&5. And our winner, he's from Finland. Please give a hand to Riku Koivurinne. On the other side, yes. Yes, yes. Thank you. Okay, then we're going to do winners' pictures. Sure. And then you'll have an interview. I can put this wherever laptop wants it. I don't know. A ring here. Yeah.
I should try it on.
Should I?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, we will do one photo.
Okay, wait, I will put the chair in the middle.
Yes, back in the booth, or the studio, I should say. And yeah, that was it, the winner presentation for the 1100 PLO 4-5 cards. Riku of Finland taking down another title for Finland in PLO. Not surprised by that one, but yeah. Summarize the final table in 3 words, George.
Pot limit Omaha.
There you go. And that's it for today's stream. We'll be back tomorrow, and then we'll be bringing you the day 2 from the main event in the afternoon. The exact time will be on our socials and on OlyBet.tv. I think we are about around 4:30. We'll be starting the stream when we have closed the late registration for the day 2 for the main event. The 1500 that is ongoing right now. And that's it for
so
me.
4 levels of late registration plus
Tomorrow.
the delay, of course. So expect us in the sort of mid-afternoon/evening time. Looking forward to that one. That's going to bring out some of the best players Northern Europe has seen, and lots of action. 1500 with a 1 million guarantee. So there's going to be some eye-watering money up top, and we're going to be going through the motions in day 2, pushing on to see who's going to get in the money there.
Yeah. Stay tuned. See you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow.